Hey everybody, welcome to the Players Take, episode 174. I am your host, Justin DeSimone, joined by my co-host, Montrell Rice. How are you doing, Montrell?
I'm doing fine.
Yeah, you're coming off your first solo episode last week. I listened to the whole thing, and it was a very nice hour. I got to sit in my car, have a nice cozy, listen with Montrell. It was great. I enjoyed it a lot. I did, man. It was good. You did a good job.
Thank you.
I dare say, I think we're at the point, both of us, that we legitimately have enough skill and experience in this that we could probably actually get hired onto a show. I think we could, but maybe I'm getting ahead of myself there a little bit. But I'm not saying like something high octane, but like a lower level, YouTube show or something like that. I think we have the chops for that at this point.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Well,
It doesn't matter because we're just going to keep doing this anyways. So, well, anyways, thank you, Montrell, for doing that last week. I enjoyed the week off. I am fresh and I am fucking excited. We have a great show lined up today. So I kind of want to just get right into it, but there's one thing I want to talk to you about because I know you care about this series. Is Battlefield 2042? VGC is reporting that EA is unofficially internally ramping down support for this game already, and the game is down to a skeleton crew. How does that feel? I think pretty sure we called this, by the way.
yeah. I mean, people they tried to make it come back with their They had like a whole strain for it and everything like that, saying the improvements they're gonna do, and they made a significant improvement with the patch and everything like that. From the gameplay that I saw, I haven't played it yet. I just for some reason haven't had the desire to play it. But it's just too far gone from like the original Battlefield, and I understand why they're not going to do it because gamers in their mind still have the mindset that the game is dead, even though they're trying to bring it back.
Yeah.
That first 2 months was so like for any game, right?
Yeah.
That first 2 months is like really, really detrimental. Actually,
Yeah.
the first launch week for me, for a couple of reasons, is detrimental to a lot of people. And 42 just couldn't come back from the dead.
You would think though that companies would understand this by now, especially EA. They've had this happen before with Battlefront 2 and Anthem in particular. Like, first impression matters a lot for a live service game, and you can survive a game being mediocre and making it better and building excitement up over time. But it is really hard to fuck it up as bad as they've done with some of these games and come back from that. It's wild to me though that Battlefield 2042 has died as quickly as it's died. Like I genuinely find that hard to believe, but here we are, So
yeah, I mean, you got to think about it too, Justin. They're coming off of Battlefield 5.
Yeah.
Not only that, but that trailer that they showed for Battlefield 2042, this game was supposed to be meant for the fans.
Right.
Like all this fan stuff they did in the trailers and everything like that. And to drop the ball as hard as they did, they changed it. They tried to turn Battlefield 42 into a hero shooter, and it's just not that.
Yeah.
I
don't care. It's not what the fan base wants, right?
Yeah, and I don't care what anyone else says. Like the original 42, not the Portal. I think the Battlefield Portal was like a really great idea. But I think the original 42, like the gameplay for that, they try to turn into a hero shooter, and it's just not what Battlefield is, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what they could have done. Now, I would have been okay with this. Each squad has a squad leader. That squad leader could have been like a hero, but everybody else would be like a generic soldier, if that makes any sense. Yeah. That could have made it more strategic on the battlefield and everything like that.
And maybe you become a leader based on how well you're doing within the match,
Yeah, exactly.
Like that could have been cool. It could have been some kind of almost like inter-team competition within your team.
Well, you know what they could have done? They could have done the same thing they did in Battlefront 2, where you play as a regular soldier, then you get enough battle points, and then you become one of the heroes on the field.
Yeah. Yeah.
So They could have done that. I don't know why they didn't do that, but they
Would have
could
been
have done
interesting.
that.
Yeah, because I mean, like, yeah, and you give people bonuses for doing objectives, like more than kills and stuff like that. Like, you incentivize people to do shit on the map, you know.
That's
Um,
exactly what Battlefront 2 does.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
don't.
yeah. It's interesting that they screwed it up so badly, but oh well. Moving on, I guess, to the next game, which is probably okay. They probably need to do it, so it is what it is. But I am sad for
Yeah.
you Battlefield fans. I mean, dude, I was excited about this game when they showed it off at E3. I was in. I kind of was looking forward to this game, and then yeah, it just was a total disaster. So
Yeah, I'm glad I played the beta and just talked everybody out of buying it. I was like, don't buy this game.
mhm.
It's not good at all. That beta was terrible, and then the final
Yeah,
release of the game was terrible.
everybody said that too, and they didn't listen. Like they should have delayed the game,
Mhm.
but they didn't. So all right, Montrell. Well, let's get into the show proper. So, for those of you who haven't listened before, this is our weekly show where we talk about video games, video game news, and other topics pertaining to video games. We post at 6 a.m. on Central Time on Fridays on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and your favorite podcast app of choice. And if you'd like to send us questions that we will read and answer on the show, please send that to at the Players Take on Twitter or the Players Take 01 at gmail.com. All right, Montreal, let's get into the show. And we'll start like we always do with what we've been playing. Do you want to go first this week or would you like
You go
me?
first.
Okay.
You go first this week.
I do have a decent amount to talk about. So I was on vacation last week. I was out of town. So I wasn't playing any games for the most part. But it's been 2 weeks since I was on the show talking about anything. And I mentioned 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. I was playing last time. And I beat this on Sunday. So I held true to my declaration that I would finish this before the next time I was on. And this game is amazing. I fucking love it, dude. This game was a fucking ride. I really enjoyed it. It is like I said last time, like all the way through to the end. The game is fucking batshit insane. And has a like completely absurd story. It just there's just twists after twists after twists, almost to a point where it becomes too much by the end. I think some people like I have a feeling there's a lot of people who would like really not like this game because there's just too many reveals stacked on reveals stacked on reveals. But to be honest, for the most part, for me, it holds together pretty well. Most of the reveals hit in a way that is like, damn, dude, like what the fuck, like kind of surprising, shocking stuff. So I really enjoyed this game. I think it's for multiple reasons, though. I just don't think it has mass appeal. I think the game's done pretty well overall in terms of sales
Yeah, it did.
for Vanillaware. But I don't think this kind of game will ever have mass appeal, though, because like it's a story. It's mainly a story-driven game that is basically like a mini adventure game. Like when I say adventure game, I'm talking like the old style, like King's Quest, that kind of stuff. um and that's like the main part of the game you're playing probably for the majority of it, and then there's probably about 10 hours of like semi live action with pausing tactical like strategy battles. And that part of the game is fun. It is well designed. It is enjoyable to do. It's fairly simplistic. It's also pretty easy. It's fun, but it definitely they made the right choice not making it a huge part of the game.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't overwhelm the game's runtime. By the end of it, I was kind of done with it, to be honest. The final mission was fitting end. I felt good about the final mission. It was also sufficiently challenging. It was definitely the most challenging mission up to that point. So the game, closes out strong. The story definitely closes out strong as well. It's a really, really cool game. Very good idea. Very unique, I feel like, in what it's doing and what the story it's telling and everything. There's definitely some standout characters. You do play as 13 different characters. Some are more fun than others. But I'll be honest, for the most part, I'd say almost all of them are strong. There's really only one that I can think of that I really did not like, and that was Shinonome, Ryoko.
Mm-hmm.
She was kind of boring, and I didn't really like her story. And to be honest, she was littered throughout other characters' stories to such a degree. It was really fucking confusing where her actual story fell within the plot, the overall plot, because she's just littered throughout everyone else's stories. So, but very interesting game, batshit insane, and I love it. So, Vanillaware, they're fucking great. They're a really good team. I think their games, like if you liked Odin Sphere, I think this is like taking Odin Sphere and like going even further with what that game was doing with story, and kind of ratcheting down the gameplay aspects, of that game. Um, so yeah, really enjoyed it. Definitely recommend it if you're into Vanillaware stuff. The other game I've been playing, I did start this while I was away, briefly, and got into it enough that I'm actually playing it, and I think I'm going to beat it. Is Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening, the remake that they came out with about 3 years ago now. So this game is funny. I have been playing it and I'm enjoying it, but all this talk about remakes, you were talking about remakes a lot at last week's episode, actually, and you got me thinking about this game in particular and what I think about remakes, because you made some good points about it last week, that there's too many remakes, and like it's just becoming like we're almost like Hollywood level at this point, where we're fucking like we're running out of original ideas. But
Yeah.
in the context of this game, Link's Awakening, so Link's Awakening is a Game Boy game that came out in 1993 and then
Mhm.
was re-released on the Game Boy Color in 1996 or 7, I think, as
Yep.
Link's Awakening DX. And I played back in the day Link's Awakening DX. I did not play the original one. I don't really know if there were changes between the two that much, but that's what I played. It was DX. And I loved the game as a kid. I thought it was a good Zelda game. I wouldn't say it's one of the best, definitely not, but it was solid, for what it was on a Game Boy. Um, this game, though, remade, is interesting because I haven't played that game in a long time. Like, I think I haven't played it since like the 90s, legitimately. So over 20 years, since I played it. So my memory of it is very vague. So I actually
Yeah.
don't know how faithful this game is to that game, but my impression of it is that it feels really faithful to that game. And
Yeah.
that is a good and a bad thing, at the same time. Good in the sense that it's still a solid game. The game is fun and enjoyable to play. Bad in a sense that this feels like a Game Boy game on a Switch. And that is, to me, not up to snuff to what a game should be in 2022, or I guess 2019 when this released even. It's just like I feel like I'm playing a Game Boy game and it feels really basic in its design, and it's just not like it's like I wouldn't say this game is better than the Game Boy one. That's kind of where I'm coming from with it at this point. Like my memory of the Game Boy one is like because you can tell there are aspects of it. There are times I'm playing this game where I'm feeling it, and I'm like, this game feels like it's still designed for a Game Boy, and that's like bad because on a Game Boy back in the day, before they got to 3D Zeldas, the games were always like screen to screen because the device you were playing on couldn't process the whole map at the same time, so it would
Yep.
only show you one screen at a time. So the games were designed from a screen to screen perspective. Each screen was like a unique room basically that you were going in, and this game still has that feel, but it's not screen to screen except for the dungeons. And that it feels really bad in the overworld. Like it's like it doesn't feel. It's kind of annoying. Like walking around and traveling is like it feels slow and like not. I don't know, like because
So
early
does it do
game.
those?
Yeah, go
Does it
ahead.
do those screen transitions that how like when you move to the side, the screen moves to the side
No,
to the next part of
no,
the
no, no. Only in the
ancient
dungeon.
field?
Only in the dungeons. It only does
Okay.
that in dungeons. So dungeons are still screen to screen, which is like room by room basically. But yeah, the overworld map is not like that at all. Except for like caves, I guess. Caves, which are kind of like still they're similar to dungeons, but they're not full dungeons, obviously.
Yeah.
So yeah, the overworld is not like that at all. There's no screen transitions at all. But the game still feels like it's built for screen transitions, so it's just awkward. It like feels weird to me. And I don't know. Like, again, I enjoy the game. I think it's fun. I wouldn't give it anything higher than a 7 probably in this game, in this form. It's like it's fine. It is what it is. I just but this is where it comes into the remake discussion for me, is like, does this game justify the remake that was made? Does this remake justify itself? And my answer is no. Like, I don't think this remake, like, I'm sure some people were very happy it got remade and enjoyed it a lot. I remember this game getting a lot of praise when it came out, actually. I haven't looked at Metacritic, but I'm pretty sure the Metacritic is fairly high for it.
Yeah.
But, I don't think this remake is justified given what it is. They didn't do much to transform it, to me, beyond
So
graphics.
so it sounds like it was like a glorified remaster, from what you're describing it to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Without
I guess
knowing
it.
without knowing the original, remembering the original game exactly, like piece by piece, like I'd have to play that to really like break it down. This is just my
That's
impression
just
of
your
this
take.
game based on what I remember of the original game when I played it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, so what's interesting about that is I did say in the last podcast or last episode that I think there should be like I don't think there should be like a definite time limit, right, before we can call something a remake or a remaster or whatever.
Yeah.
I think even though it was a not necessarily the best remake, it was a justified remake. That remake, um, the last generation of gamers, right, or the current generation of gamers had no way of playing that game.
Yeah.
So I think that remake, that's that I really couldn't convey. I listened back to the episode. And I should have conveyed more what I was saying about the remakes, because even
Mm-hmm.
DJ kind of chewed into me a little bit about the remakes and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. Um, my thing is, I don't have a problem with remakes. There are
Yeah.
a lot of people, even one of my friends, Aaron, he hates remakes and remasters. He's like, there's just way too many of them. I fucking hate them. We don't fucking need them no more. Whatever, whatever. I think there's a justifiable reason for them. I am on the side of him though, on a little bit on his side, where I think there's just way too many. Now Link's Awakening came out almost 30 years ago at this point,
Yeah.
and I think that it was justified as a remake. I think that's a justifiable remake. Final Fantasy VII, which we're about to talk about later, that came out
Yeah.
20 years ago, 25 years ago, I think.
Yeah. It was 25.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so that justifies me, in my opinion, a remake,
So,
right?
yeah.
Like now, when we get to The Last of Us,
Yeah.
that the generation of gamers now, I will say, when I say gamers, I say like 16 up, right? Because these
Yeah.
are the audiences that play like The Last of Us and stuff like that. I don't count like 12-year-olds and all that bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Even though like we were 12 and we experienced a lot of good games and everything like that, but
Yeah.
I didn't play like say like Metal Gear Solid 2. I didn't play that until 2013.
Well,
Or I'm sorry, I didn't play that until
so
2003 when it came out in 2001.
yeah, a good
So
example of this though is like Metal Gear Solid to Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes. There was like what, 5 or 6 years between those two games.
thank you. That's a really good example. And everybody hates that fucking like the original fans. Like
Yeah.
everyone's like, this remake is ass. Like
Yeah.
we didn't need this remake at all.
Yeah.
It wasn't a good remake.
Yeah. So that
So
might be an example of what you're talking about, but I'm going to kind of get in the weeds here because I think this is a really important topic to talk about because it is becoming very prevalent. I don't
yeah,
think remakes and remasters in and of themselves are bad. I think how many we get and the volume we get can be bad. I don't think it is necessarily bad right now.
Mhm.
My feeling on this, the justification for a remake to me, what I think whether a remake is okay or not to exist or should be made, it actually has nothing to do with time frame. Generally, there's two factors for me that matter. One, will it make the game better to remake it? If you can say yes to that, then that's worth it. Number two is if you are transforming the game in a way where it is going to be almost a totally different experience in your remake, that is another
Mhm.
reason to justify it. I think Link's Awakening, this remake, does neither of those things, and which is why I don't feel like it is a justifiable remake. I think it is a
Gotcha.
remake for the sake of making an old game look new, and that is not a reason to do a remake for me. So because the game to me, it's not better in this form, and it's not transforming the game in any way.
Okay.
So those two things aren't true for this game. The Last of Us, on the other hand, I think number one, it's true. The game will be better in this remade form. Like I'm
Yeah.
very, very confident in that fact
I don't
because
disagree with that at all. And DJ
yeah,
made that point as well, and I didn't disagree with him at all.
yeah.
I think
I
because
actually
he
didn't
didn't play.
listen to what DJ said, so you know.
Yeah, well, we're talking in like our other group chat,
hmm
and I didn't disagree with him at all. He didn't play Last of Us 2, but
hmm
I said last episode,
Yeah.
The Last of Us 2 is really underrated as far as gameplay because
Yes.
that gameplay is
Absolutely.
the way you can tackle each level and each objective and everything of that nature is fucking crazy. The
Yeah.
versatility you have as a third person shooter. And I think The Last of Us 1
Was
will
not
be
that at all.
significant. It wasn't that at all,
Yeah.
and it would be significantly better because of that. And they have to redesign the levels around that. Now
Yes.
that's the key thing. If they
Yeah.
redesign the levels around your new gameplay, if they
Right.
just keep it the same, then it's going to be a twin snake situation all
Yes.
over again.
So yeah, you're not transforming what the game is, but I do think the changing gameplay is going to make this game a 10 out of 10, basically. Where The Last of Us Part 1 maybe was a 9.5 before, it's going to be like a full on 10 out of 10 experience. This will be a better game than the one that was made in 2013. And um, I think the other thing, this is why I think people are getting too wrapped up in the time aspect of like how long ago the game came out and whether that's justified or not. I don't think that matters really in this conversation because especially like The Last of Us is deceptively old. Actually, like I know it only came out 9 years ago, but you guys have to remember it's a PS3 game. That is originally what it came out on. It was a PS3 game, and if you go back and play it now, even the remaster on PS4, it feels like a PS3 game. And you can't get away from that fact, even though it was at the very tail end and it was the best the system probably ever output in terms of like what a game can do and what it looks like and how it's presented and everything like that and aesthetically. It's still a PS3 game at the end of the day, which means there were huge restrictions on what the game could do. I mean, they had 256 megs of fucking RAM, to work with. Like
Yeah,
it's fucking insane, dude. Like that. I can't believe The Last of Us 1 was made on a PS3, like actually came out on PS3. It's like fucking insane to me. I don't understand how they pulled that off. So that's kind of my thing with it is like it's like if you look at it that way, it's a game made on 2006 hardware. Earlier, if you consider the hardware when it was actually probably current, was probably more like 2004 or 2005.
yeah,
So it's a fucking it's a game made with very old technology to run on very old technology. So I think it's definitely justifiable to remake the game. Now, I had a different opinion when they first announced this, or we started first hearing rumblings about this, but I've thought about this a lot, and this is kind of where I've come to with it. That I am borderline excited about it. Based on that, I think the game is going to be extremely good. you know, like no one's going to be able to deny that. It's like yeah, you may not think the game's worth remaking, but it's going to be a better game than probably almost anything that comes out this year. So, um,
yeah. I mean, I just rather them make something new,
yeah,
in
that's the
my
part
opinion.
where I agree with you. I think Naughty Dog making this, that's the part that's disappointing and feels like a waste.
Yeah, I would just rather them make something new. I
Right.
mean, I like I said, I didn't disagree with you or DJ. Every point y'all brought up, he makes some of the same points. Every point that has been brought up in defense of the remake, I don't disagree with. Like, I still stand behind my time thing. I think the timing is just
Yeah.
it's good for Sony because they got the show coming out.
Yeah.
Last of Us 2 is doing really well, and all that shit like that. Um, But for me, The Last of Us One is still kind of fresh for me. And then for a lot of other people as well, they think the game like it's kind of fresh. And then on top of that, like you just get into real messy territory when you start changing the look of characters because they're releasing screenshots of how
Yeah.
characters look and everything
hmm
like that. And
Yeah.
that is a very, very subjective thing. So I'm not even gonna really comment on that because some people may like
Well,
the new
I do
characters,
want
and
to
then some
comment
people
on it though, because a little bit. Ellie and Joel don't look right. That is the one thing I took away from everything I saw, especially the stills that
I
I
haven't
saw.
seen Joel. I know Ellie doesn't look right. I haven't
Ellie
seen
doesn't
Joel
look
yet.
right. She looks in certain stills that I saw, she looks way older than she's supposed to be in that game. And Joel looks way older than he's supposed to be in The Last of Us Part 1. So that's the part of it that I'm a little wary of. is the aesthetic seems a little off, a little bit. But you know,
Yeah,
some people saying though that the old game looked better. It's like, guys, come on. Like, it might look better with the lighting in the old game. Like, that's where some of the screenshots people were doing, like the comparison. The lighting in the old game looked better in certain scenes, but it doesn't look better. It's just framed better, you know? Like
yeah,
the lighting is a little off and some of the character models look a little off. I will agree with that, but it doesn't look better. The old game does not look better. It's a fucking polygonal PS3 game. Like so
yeah. I mean, it's just I don't know. I don't really care about the graphics aspect. I know like the art style of the characters. I think that's what people are getting at. How
yeah.
the old game looks better, and
Yeah.
I understand that sentiment. Um, but like I really don't really care too much about that. It's just I know the gameplay is going to be better. I know everything's going to be better. For me, maybe I am stuck on the time, and I'll admit that. I just think like maybe 3 years. Give it 3 years, and then okay, then this is justifiable. Then you know,
Yeah.
but then I mean, the game may not come out for like another 3 years or whatever the fuck. So, um,
Well, no, it's coming out in September, isn't it? They
oh,
dated it, didn't
okay,
they? Yeah, it was like September
I,
2nd
I,
or something.
yeah. So I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I'd rather have like a Last of Us Part 2.5 or 3. Um, I think this is like wasted resources, but at the same time, um, I'm not Naughty Dog or Sony, so
Yeah.
it may be worth
Well, they
their
weren't
while to
originally
do it.
making it, remember? That wasn't the plan.
Oh yeah, they
They
outsourced it, didn't
saw
they?
it and they were like they took it upon themselves to take over the game and take it in house. So Naughty
Okay,
Dog decided to do this. So, but one example I want to bring up though is Final Fantasy VII, which we are going to talk about later. That game is funny because think about what people wanted before that game came out, right? They just wanted the game remade with new graphics and cinematics and like nothing else was changed about it, you know? Imagine if Square made that game. Does that fulfill either of the conditions that I said before? Like, would that have fulfilled either conditions that I said before? I don't think so. Like, I don't think it would have made Final Fantasy VII better. And I also don't think it's transforming the game either. What Square did is both. Like, what they actually did was both. Like, they took the approach of we want to transform what this game is, you know? Um,
no, and that's 100% true. Um, I feel like it's more justified though.
yeah,
That
true.
real time battle system for PS1. First of all, it's on the PS1. Second of all, I don't think people understand. So, turn based games, this is a really hot take. I think they solely exist because of the technology that was available at the time they
Mm,
were birthed.
mm-hmm,
I don't think that if the developers at the time had the technology they had now,
mm-hmm.
Final Fantasy as a whole would be a totally different franchise because
Yeah,
you see where they're going with the franchise now.
what they
And I
want to
think this
do.
is the
Yeah,
yeah, I think this is the original vision of the creators when they made these games. Now that's a hot take. Uh, now I think that a lot of people the franchise is stuck in their ways. And I feel like that for a lot of JRPGs and RPGs in general. I feel like what they want to do with the games, this is the limitations they had. Now,
yeah,
granted, there are some games like CRPGs and all those type of games that are kind of that's their culture. And even if they had the technology they had today that they made back in the day, they will still make that game if that makes any sense.
mm-hmm.
Um, but I think that's one aspect that a lot of people are missing with Final Fantasy. I don't think Final Fantasy ever wanted to be a JRPG. I think it wanted to be a JRPG action game.
Yeah. I mean, I
Um,
think it's well said because a lot of the original creators are still making these games, dude.
yeah,
Like they're not like Square's developers aren't completely turned over from that time. There's a lot of people that worked on the old games that are still there, you know.
and I think it's just funny too that a lot of the people that want to keep stuff in the old ways are a lot of younger gamers. Like a lot of younger gamers are just like, no, this is fine. Like we want the original way that it was made in 1995 or 1995 or 1997 rather.
Mm-hmm.
We want it the way that it was made. And a lot of the older gamers are like, I want some new shit. Like
Yeah,
I'm seeing, at least in my circle, I'm seeing a lot of new gamers who are older who are like, I just want some new shit, bro. Just
yeah,
give me some new shit.
yeah.
Um, and I don't know. It's really weird. And
I
then you
think
got
that's
the
just
younger
I
gamers.
think that's just perspective. Younger gamers never experienced that stuff, and I think they yearn
Mhm.
for that experience. Where older gamers have experienced that shit, and we're tired of it. you know.
But it
So
usually isn't it? But usually in other mediums and other things, right? It's usually like back in my day, and they want to keep it that way. Like I want to keep it this way because back in my day, blah, 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 blah. And like I don't
yeah,
want to do that. Like I want every franchise to fucking evolve as
yeah,
far as like what they can do, push themselves to the limit. We've got the
right,
technology, let's fucking do it.
right.
And maybe we're the first generation because we're used to technology being pushed
hmm
and always evolving. We want us as like 30 plus year olds, we want stuff to constantly evolve and everything like that. We're not afraid of change. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe we're like one of those first generations to like be okay with change.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. All right, so the last game I've been playing is Apex. We've kind of been back into this the last week or so, or a couple weeks actually, I guess. And still enjoying myself. I definitely got into a funk this week though with it, where I feel like you experienced this with me too. You, me, and Andy kind of started this whole funk, and we were getting we suddenly we went from dominating people and winning a ton of games every night to like getting absolutely fucking destroyed. Like literally couldn't even get out of our drop zone every single game, like destroyed. And I just man, it's just so annoying this ebb and flow with Apex for me. It's gotten really fucking frustrating with this game. Like their matchmaking system is trash, dude. Like it's literally like you're with predators and diamond level and masters players, or you're with all the scrubs. Like it's like no in between, you know. At least that's how it feels to me. So I mean, I'm enjoying the game. I'm still having fun with it. I still want to play it, but it's just like, man, there's just some nights where we start playing and we play for like an hour, and we haven't even literally gotten out of our drop zone for an entire hour. And I just want to quit because I feel like the whole night is going to be a waste of fucking time, you know, like that.
well,
Um,
yeah, I understand. And I think it's just the first of all, you're right, 100% right. Apex needs to fix their fucking matchmaking. Now, I think, which is really funny, I think Apex has fell into the same issue that Bluehole has fell into,
yeah,
where they just don't really fucking care anymore. They're making so much money, they just don't fucking care.
yeah,
Like you remember when PUBG came out, PUBG Mobile came out, it had way better features than fucking the PC version,
yeah.
and that shit
It's
is now
happening to
true with
Apex.
Apex.
It's happening to
Yeah.
Apex too, dude.
When you get a new skin in Apex, the each character has a specific emote for that skin.
Yeah,
They just they
yeah,
got. And there's other little things too, other quality of life changes that the
yeah,
mobile version has. But besides that, there's still hacking still a huge issue, and even if they're not hacking, um, we just run into, like you said, predators and diamond players and everything like that. And the thing is, we play norms because we're normal fucking players. Like we don't want to play ranked
right.
at all. Like I even announced on Twitter, like I kind of retired from rank on League of Legends. I'm just having fun playing norms now. Um, and I play with people within my sector. Um, Apex for some reason just doesn't fucking have that. It doesn't. I don't know how they do the MMR, but because a lot of you guys are 400 or 500 level, they still make you up with predators. We still get ranked up with predators or whatever. We
Yeah,
have to go. We have to. So what we have to do now, what we found out is we have to, at the beginning of the season, we got to play fucking norms because all the hackers and all the predators are already in rank. They're trying to grind. And
yeah,
at the end of the split, we have to start transitioning over to rank because they already grinded as far as they can go. And now they just want to terrorize everybody else. So we have to go into the rank where we can actually play with people our skill level. That's how we have to navigate it. And I was on Reddit, and a lot of people make Smurf accounts because they are tired of this same thing happening to them.
yeah,
They either stomp people or they get totally obliterated, or they get in a weird funk where they're like only match made with hackers or some shit like that, which I don't fucking care because fuck you.
yeah,
Um, so it's like Respawn really needs to do something about this, but they're not, and no one's calling them out on it, and it's really getting fucking annoying at this
yeah.
point. like no streamers calling. Like everyone's complaining about the balance and everything like that, but because the streamers are like MLG pro motherfuckers, like they don't fucking care,
They don't feel it.
and
They don't even know,
they,
dude. Yeah.
exactly, they don't understand the state of what Apex is,
Yeah.
and it's like,
Well, I think this game is on the back end of its shelf life. Like I believe that. Like PUBG's still around, right? The game's still around.
yeah,
Like it still has a couple 100,000 players at any given time, probably, but it's a dead game for the most part. Like nobody cares about PUBG. Nobody talks about PUBG. There's no buzz around PUBG. And I think Apex is on its way towards that state. To be frank with you, because of everything we're talking about. I just they're doing the same shit Bluehole did, dude. Like it's the same arc. Like, and I just like I really enjoy the game, but dude, it's just like I have a time limit with how long I can play it for any given period of time. Like I have a feeling I'm gonna keep playing it this season, and then I think I'm gonna get to next season, and I'm not gonna want to play again. Like I'm probably gonna take another fucking season off because that's where I am with Apex. And I think we're all kind of there. I think we're just waiting for something else to come out that supplants it, for a competitive game. And I don't know what that game is going to be, but whenever it happens, it's just going to happen. And I have a feeling we're all going to transition away from Apex. And I think a lot of people will do the same shit, man. I think it's just competition. We just need something that can compete with it that fulfills a similar kind of itch that we have for that Apex currently scratches.
yeah,
Because dude, it sucks though, because as much as like I bag on Apex, dude, it fucking is such a good shooter, dude. Like from a core mechanical standpoint, like the game is fucking feels fucking great. Like movement is awesome in this game. It's just like one of the best movement shooters I've fucking ever seen. And everything like that, and a lot of the character abilities, and even most of the maps for the most part. As much as we don't like Storm Point, it's grown on me. It's a pretty good map. It's still too big, but overall, I'm not as annoyed with it as I was a couple seasons ago when it came out. And I think it's shitty to see them treating the game this way, where it's literally just like kind of like a manufacturing line with content. They're not doing anything to transform the game, anymore. And I think people would point to arenas maybe, but that was what was that like 5 or 6 seasons ago at this point? Like, and to be honest, that didn't transform anything. Nobody cares about arenas. Who the fuck plays that shit? Like, do you ever see streamers playing arenas? No. Like, they don't give a
no,
shit about arenas. Arenas like a warm up mode, basically. So I don't know. It just kind of sucks. Like I'm sad because there's so much more they could do with this game, but they're not doing it, and I don't think they're going to.
yeah, and that's the sad part about it. Like, there's so much they can do, they just don't want to do it, and I don't know what you can do. Like, I don't even know what you can. I mean, it's their game, and if
Mm-hmm.
the streamers aren't complaining about it, then they won't fucking do anything about it. And I think outside of Apex, I think streaming culture is one of those things where it's almost like, you know how they used to balance around the forums, but
Yeah,
like millions of other players don't really be on
they don't
forums like
interact
that.
there. Yeah,
Yeah, and they just balance things around the forums and stuff like that. I think another element now is the streamers. The shooters are balancing shit on like what Doctor Disrespect says, and no disrespect to him, or what Shroud says, and or Tim the Tap Man, all these people who are playing these games, and all these other streamers, mid level streamers or high level streamers. Um, and like,
yeah.
whereas people like us, we're just like, yo, we just want to play the fucking game. We don't really
They're
want
not
to
normal.
stream.
They're not normal people. Their opinion
Yeah,
is from 30,000 feet. Like they're playing at a level and in lobbies that like we shouldn't be in. Like
yeah, and we are in
but
those
we are
lobbies.
in them. Yeah, that's the problem. Like it's so frustrating. So, I mean, I think my thing with them is they need to because they do balance around the vocal minority. They totally listen to the vocal minority and balance around what the vocal minority wants, streamers and otherwise. And I think they need to start because Blizzard used to do this with Overwatch. I think was in World of Warcraft too, where they would balance there would be two different versions of the game. Basically, there would be the pro scene version of the game, and then there would be the regular game that anybody can go into a store and buy and play with regular people, and there would be two different versions of balance for the game based on those things. And I think Apex needs to do that same thing, because some of the stuff they've done in reaction to pro feedback has really hurt the game for me. The fucking Kraber nerf is awful. I still hate it to this day, and it's in the game. They're not going to revert it. The Kraber's fucking done, dude. That gun's fucking useless. And it sucks. It's like an aspect of the game they just took away. It's at the point where I literally don't run sniper rifles anymore, like almost ever. Like I do not fucking pick them up. I don't even pick them up, dude. And I was the sniper guy in our squad. I was the guy that always runs snipers all the time. Now I fucking run, dude. I just run I'm at the point where I run car wingman every fucking game, because in Apex, if it fills every need you have, basically those two weapons, and there's just almost no other reason for me to run other guns at this point. And I'm enjoying it. I like those two guns. I like them a lot, but my gameplay has become very, very regimented in that way. I don't use other guns. I barely use the bow anymore. I don't use shotguns. I just the range I have with those two weapons is perfect for what Apex is, So that's disappointing. They've pigeonholed me into that play style. That I feel like Respawn has done that to me. They've ruined a lot of their weapons. They don't want snipers to be good. That has always been clear, and I don't even know why they're in the fucking game. Take them out. Straight up.
I said that. I said just if you're gonna make snipers, make them all DMR based.
Yeah,
make them DMR snipers. Don't give me any single bolt action snipers or single shot snipers, because they're pointless. If I miss a shot with a sentinel, that's literally my ass.
You're dead,
because the people that we play with will instantly laser you, bro. Y'all don't understand. I'm not trying to make it sound like maybe we're better than we think we are, because bro, the level of players that we play with, I watch other people. I play on console, so when I play, this is no joke. The rare times that I do play by myself, I literally get 10 kills a lobby. Legitimately in my, because console players are just inherently more worse than PC players. I have to learn how to move. I have to learn how to move better and everything of that nature. So when I'm playing with high level console players, some of them legitimately think people on my team would ask me, because I'm not talking. They're like, "This guy's a hacker. He's just fucking hacking." And I'm like, "Bro, I'm not fucking hacking."
Well, dude, there was those games when we started playing again a couple weeks ago. Me, you, and Andy. We had 4, 5, 6 sessions in a row where we were having incredible games. We were just dominating. It was fucking laughable. We were winning every other game we were playing. 2,000 damage. Not even trying, bro. It was fucking nuts. And then all of a sudden, one of us hit a new MMR level, and we're in the pred lobbies, and we can't even fucking kill anyone. It's fucking nuts. That should not happen in a game that has got an MMR system, any kind of matchmaking system. That should not happen. It is fucking embarrassing that happens. No game experience should be like that. We didn't suddenly all get fucking way worse over the course of 3 hours. That's just not, it's just not how it works. It's fucking nuts. So it's fucking embarrassing, dude. It's in a horrible state.
And then because it just amazes me, bro. When other people post their screenshots or their screen caps, and mostly it's from console players because the people I follow, I look at their gameplay. And I look at the people in the movement, I'm like, wow, this is actually really bad. And then I may see screen caps from other, I'm not even trying to be mean towards them or whatever. But I'm like, this is actually these people are actually fucking trash.
Yeah.
But they're getting 3 kills, 4 kills or whatever. And then I see screen caps from PC players, right? And they're doing crazy shit or whatever. The rare times it does come across my timeline, and I'm like, that's what I'm used to seeing right there. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm on the other end of that screen cap. Look, this guy just dominated. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the shit we play against. What I'm telling y'all, we play against people that do. I had to learn how to fucking wall jump. like wall jump, and I did it in other games, but when I try to do it against PC player, it really doesn't work. But when I'm playing against console players, I know how to wall jump where they'll be chasing me, and I wall jump behind them and shoot them. Like I know how to do that shit now. I should not know how to do that. Like I don't play this game enough to do that, but I have to learn because all you guys are PC players. So I have to play with the PC crowd, and then on top of that, you guys are inherently better because you have to learn how to get better because the PC people that you play against, either they're hacking or they're just sweaty and they don't play anything but fucking Apex. The amount of people we play against, I don't even get. We play against people who have 40,000 kills in the game that's only been out for 3 years, 4 years.
More than that maybe. Now, dude. We've seen 70, 80,000, 90,000.
Yeah, 70. Like, yeah, it's crazy.
And psychotic. I have like to put that in perspective for you guys, I have like 4,000 lifetime kills on my account over like two and a half years. So.
And you probably look at his Steam profile, or if he plays it on Steam or Origin, it probably has like 200, 300 hours logged into this game.
No, I have 600. I think I have 600. And dude, the thing is, it's not like I play infrequently either. Like I play like multiple times a week, and I have 4K total kills. Like,
your lifetime kills is 4K. And these people are jumping on. We're playing with people that have 90,000 lifetime kills
on one character. One character, dude. Like one character. That's fucking nuts, dude. Oh, that's my thing. Is like the movement some of these people have too. There's times we have a lot of suspicions of hackers. We kind of blame hackers a lot for when we get killed, and I do think a lot of people are hacking in this game, but I think there's a lot of times where we're probably wrong, and these people are just so much better than we are that we are like we perceive them to be hacking because they're that much better than us. Where we get picked apart, where the team literally moves around so well around buildings and shit where you can't even see them, and then all of a sudden they're behind you fucking destroying you, and you like can't even turn around in time to shoot back. Like dude, that's the level of people we play against sometimes, and it is so unfun. Like,
was that with you, or was that with like, I know it was 3 of us, and there was a team that came at us. They bolted straight at us, and like one came right at us, and then 2 of them split off. And then they just came around, flanked us on both sides.
Dude, I was like chasing one of them. Yeah, I remember what you're talking about. I'm like legitimately chasing one of them, trying to catch them. And the dude ends up behind me, fucking destroying me. I'm like I don't even, like, I didn't even know what happened. I'm like, God, dude. I'm like, what the fuck? That's why we thought they were wall hacking, because it just felt like they knew exactly where we were and exactly how to like outmaneuver us. All 3 players did too. It wasn't just one of them.
Yeah,
like
it wasn't just one of them.
It was like a special ops, like fucking black ops mission, dude. Like that's what it felt like. Like they picked us apart so bad, you know?
Yeah. And so that's the because when I play with like DJ doesn't play that much. His other friend, I can't remember his name. I'm sorry. Both of them, they were playing for a while. Right. They were trying to like stream and stuff like that. And when I would jump in their lobbies, their level, the players they would play against would jump up significantly because I'm in the lobby with them. And they're like, what the fuck? Who are we playing? I'm like, oh shit, that's my fault. Because my MMR, I guess, I don't even know how the MMR works. My KD is not even that good. So it's like, I don't even know how that
Dude,
works.
My KD lifetime is like 0.9. Like, why am I in lobbies with Preds? I don't get it.
And even when they see me move, like one guy was trying to main Ash, and I'm like, let me play a couple games with Ash. And I was playing a couple games. He's like, I didn't even know you could do that. Well, how are you moving so fast? How are you doing this? How are you doing that? And I'm like, bro, I can't even tell you. It's just like, it's fucking.
You just learn it.
Yeah, it's just reflexes at this point. You have to learn, or you're gonna get picked apart,
or you're gonna get destroyed, man.
Yeah,
Apex is ruthless. It is a really hard game. It's actually funny because watching Dr. Disrespect try to get into Apex, it proves to me that Apex is a way harder game than I thought it was. Like, dude, he can't hang. Like he fucking he still hasn't figured it out. Like, dude, he's just getting wrecked by people. Like, it's fucking funny, man. Like, because it's like he's a good player. Like, he's a really good player in shooters, you know? But to see him struggle with Apex, it's just, there's something about this game that is like, there is a sweaty contingent of players in this game where they are so fucking proud of how good they are at this game. You know, like it's I don't know.
I think this game is like the Dota
BRs, yeah,
of BRs,
I can
man.
see
I
that.
think this. I seriously, I think
Fortnite's League.
yeah. I was going to say Call of Duty is League, but yeah, Fortnite's League.
Well, without the building,
Where
Fortnite is now League.
yeah, without the building, Fortnite
With
is
the
League.
building, don't talk
That
to
is
me.
Dota. That's
Yeah,
Dota.
it's Dota. Oh my god, my brain hurts just thinking about that.
You know what? In Call of Duty is Smite. That's what that game is,
Yeah,
man. Like,
yeah.
even though that one like has like the highest player count, when I play Call of Duty Modern Warfare, like the BR,
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it. I'm just like, this shit is easy as fuck. Like it's
Yeah.
easy as fuck for me. But
Well,
I don't know,
Fortnite was like that, dude. We go into Fortnite and we are just like, we're just like. I mean, our skill level's probably not that high. That's probably the reason. But dude, we're like,
yeah,
man, it just feels so easy to hit people in that game. You know, like
yep.
in comparison to Apex. Like I don't know what it is, but yeah, it's
Apex
different.
movement is just way faster. It's just a way faster paced game, man.
Yeah.
Like you can't and then the character powers and everything like that, it just plays it has a different feel. Everything just works, and I think that's why people hack and everything, because they need the edge. And I don't know, it's just, I don't know, it's a fun ass game and I can't put it down, but at the same time, like, shit has to change,
Yeah.
and it's probably not going to change to Apex 2. Like,
You think they'll make an Apex too? I hope they do. Actually, I guess that would be.
I
Maybe that
think
would
they
fix
might
it.
pull. Yeah, I think they might pull an Overwatch, and they might just like redirect everything. Like, it'll take over the old client or whatever, and be like,
Same
this is
maps,
Apex
same
2 now.
characters, yeah. But
Yeah,
yeah, new engine or something, yeah.
yeah,
That would be cool, I guess.
yeah. And I wouldn't mind that. I think people will. They might make it like an Apex Legacy, and then they'll have like the old game on the Legacy or whatever, and then they have a new version, which would just be called like Apex maybe, or whatever the case may be. So
Yeah. Well, I started playing Pathfinder yesterday, and I actually kind of liked them towards the end of the day. So I'm gonna be that asshole who plays Pathfinder that you watch him and you're like, this guy's so sweaty, like doing these
let's go,
grapples.
friends.
He's doing these grapples that are like super sweaty, like he's like jumping off the ground to like get extra movement out of it and shit. I'm gonna be that guy.
Jesus.
You guys are gonna hate me, but all right. Well, we've talked about what I've been playing long enough. Montrell, what have you been playing?
Yeah, I'm gonna hurry up and go through this. We're already an hour in, and maybe a couple
Yes.
minutes later than that. But
Mm-hmm.
I've been playing Battlefront 2. So first, I've been playing Apex. I had that in there. We already talked about Apex. So I've been playing Battlefront 2, and man, only reason I started playing this game again, is because I already knew the updates they did before they abandoned the game, and it was actually in a good state before they abandoned it.
Mm-hmm.
But the only reason I started playing this is because if you guys like Star Wars, I do recommend, if you like, especially like the Clone Wars cartoon, I recommend watching Bad Batch. Really good show, really fucking solid. You can tell they got the same writers and tone from the Clone Wars series, and they put it into Bad Batch, and it's a really good show. Follows a group of like misfit clones that have like enhanced genetic stuff, and yeah, really check it out. And so I've been watching that, and I was like, man, I feel like playing a Star Wars game, like a decent Star Wars game. So I started playing Battlefront 2, and not the original Battlefront 2, the 2017 Battlefront 2. And man, is this game fun as fuck. Like, this game is what it should have been on release.
How
This
cheap
game
is
is
this?
so it's probably like $10 to $20 now. Probably not even that.
I might pick it up. Is it cross-platform with PC?
I don't think so.
Probably not. This was pre that. You have it on PS5?
I got it on Xbox.
Oh, you have
it
it
on
on Xbox.
Okay. Yeah. You have the Xbox, right?
Yeah, I might check it out, dude.
Yeah. This game is so much fun. They have this mode called Supremacy Mode. So a lot of things they try to implement, they try to do with Battlefront 2. So the original Battlefront 2 had space battles and things of that nature. They don't necessarily have that in this game, but what they did try to do is they try to make do a blend. So you have this mode called Supremacy, where say if you're on Genosis, you do the regular like You have 5 points in the map. You gotta take control of the map. You hold it, get the enemy tickets down, and then that phase ends. And there's a second phase where you fly up into the ships, and then you gotta take the ship down. That are like hanging above the battlefield. So that part is really cool, and I love that. I love that. I love supremacy mode, and then you got the original Battlefront mode where it's like a Battlefront thing where you take one part is defending. It's like rush mode in Battlefield, where you hold one sector of the map. One person holds one sector of the map, and the other person's pushing. And then you got to push all the way to the other end of the map and take over the objective or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the main two modes I'm playing, and boy, this game's fucking fun. The characters they have really authentic. They really didn't redesign them. The characters you can the only thing that you have to pay for now or use loot boxes, quote unquote, or loot crates they call them, is for the skins, but all the characters are unlocked for you. I had like a whole bunch of credits. I never put a dime into it, and I got like a couple of skins because I never put a dime into the game. But I got like a bunch of skins for my clone troopers and everything because I play the first era a lot. That's what they call it, the clone era. I play the clone era a lot because those battles are just like way more epic to me than the other eras.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a lot of skins for my clone troopers, each class of clone troopers. But you can play it in the Galactic era, or you can play in the Resistance era. And the Resistance era, you can tell they kind of like they know people really don't like that era, and it's not too much stuff you can like. There's not too many advancements in the maps and everything. Like a lot of stuff I played is like from the launch. But the Galactic and the Clone Wars era, those modes are like, or those maps and everything like updated and everything of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, not to harp on the game too much, but I think it's really fun if you're looking for like a really quick Star Wars experience. Then they have other modes where you can play as nothing but the heroes, 4v4, which is really fucking fun.
Mm-hmm.
They got like squad based battles where it's like 16 on 16. No heroes. You play on a small map, and you do the same thing you'll do in the original map with like 40 players, but it's just condensed down to like really small maps and stuff like that. And then they have like four. You can do like a horde style mode where it's like 4 players versus like 60 other NPCs on a map and shit like that. So they have a lot of stuff, and then on top of that, Battlefront has obviously the single player. I haven't played the single player since launch, but I think they have DLC and stuff like that. So I think it's a full experience now, and whatever price you get it at, if it was at $60, I would say it's worth $60 now. But since it's a really old game, if you pay $30 for it, I think it's worth that. If you pay $20 for it, I think you're getting way more bang for your buck, especially if you're a Star Wars fan. This game is really cool. I do recommend people go back and play it. And I'm playing Sekiro. So I just got my ass beat by General Chinchiro. I think it's Chinchirko. I can't pronounce his name. Genichiro. Just got my ass beat by him. Got my arm chopped off, and now I am roaming the lands looking for
looking for an arm.
Yeah. Well, I got my arm. I got my prosthetic.
Okay.
I just got 2 prosthetics. I'm about to fight Lady Butterfly. I'm in her estates. I'm in the Harada estates. So I'm about to fight Lady Butterfly. But I'm playing this game on my Xbox Series X. I forgot about the whole mid upgrade or whatever. So if you had like a PlayStation Pro, or if you had a Xbox Series or Xbox One X, you got to play this game at 60 frames per second. I'm playing this game on my Xbox Series X, and it's at 60 frames per second. Fucking amazing. I recommend go back and playing the game if you haven't played that 60 frames per second. Game's fucking awesome. Like, it's almost like a new game for me. And yeah, I'm probably over exaggerating, but the shit's still fucking fun. It's really cool to see the game at 60 frames per second. And you almost have to learn, like, you have to learn your blocks, your parries again, and everything like that. And part of that's probably because I haven't played the game in like 2 or 3 years. So I recommend. I mean, I don't say recommend, but if you do have like a PlayStation, if you have it on PlayStation 5, or if you have a PlayStation 5, I recommend going back and playing it. Or if you have the Xbox Series X, I recommend going back and playing it. And playing it at the newer frame with the uncapped frame rate they have. And there's other modes, and they did a lot of quality of life changes to it. They have these things called remnants now, which are pretty much like um the little ghosts that you can leave for people in Dark Souls, like the messages,
Hmm.
but you can actually record yourself doing like a certain move or something to show like, hey, there's an item right here. So you press it and then it'll show like a duplicate Sekiro run to like the area where the item is at because a player is trying to show you where that is. So
Hmm.
they have elements of Dark Souls in it now with this new a free update that they have in the game, and you can do the boss rush mode if you want to. Um, they already unlocked like the ability to fast travel from the start, so you can fast travel from bonfire to bonfire, or the the chimes or whatever you want to call them. You can do that from start now. Um, so yeah, they did a lot of quality of life changes. I think the game's really fucking fun still. I was having a blast playing while you guys were playing Apex. I was playing Sekiro last night,
Hmm.
and I was just having a blast playing it. It was a really fun game. Like it's still fun. It's still I'm still engrossed in the story. Like now that I played it once, I'm like I really understand the story now and everything. Especially the beginning part. That beginning part tells you a lot about what they're laying down
Hmm.
as far as like the rebellion and
Hmm.
Ashina and everything of that nature. So
Yep.
I recommend going back and playing it if you haven't played in a couple years.
Absolutely. Sekiro is amazing. Okay. Well, let us move into the news. So we have a lot of news to talk about this week. We have a couple one showcase we got from Xbox, and then a Final Fantasy VII 25th anniversary stream that just happened a couple hours ago. And we're gonna start with the Final Fantasy stream. So Montreal, going through this, there were some well, more than decent announcements in here, but let's start with the little stuff that they showed. So they showed a Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade is coming out on Steam actually tomorrow as of time of recording. So by the time you hear this, it will be out on Steam. It came to the Epic Games Store first several months ago on PC. I'm sure as an exclusive deal. So Square took the money and now it is coming on Steam as well. So if you would like to play it on Steam, you can. Then they showed the Battle Royale game, Final Fantasy VII
Which is
First
so fucking
Soldier,
cool.
which this game's been out on mobile. And yeah, I continue to be enamored by this game. I just wish it would come on PC, man. I don't want to play it on my phone, you know? Um,
Yeah.
so that is unfortunately kind of disappointing. But check it out though. It actually looks like really interesting. Like surprisingly so. There's guns, there's magic, there's like, fucking combat combo moves, like melee combo moves and shit. It's like it seems crazy. And then after that, they showed. I think this is the first time they ever showed this, but the other game they announced several months ago, which was Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. And this is apparently also a mobile game, but this looks like a different version, like a different remake of Final Fantasy VII, basically
Yeah.
in mobile form with like chibi characters, essentially.
It looks
Um,
really cool too.
but it does look cool. That didn't they do something like this with Final Fantasy 15 back in the day?
Yeah, but it was a more cheap version of the game. But yeah, they did do something like this back in the
Okay.
day.
So it is going to be iOS, Android only, and it is there's going to be a closed beta this year as well for that. So the next thing they showed, this was the second to last thing, and this is the one that probably got Montrell out of his chair, was Crisis Core. They are doing what appears to be a Crisis Core remake-ish, sort of. I don't know if it's a full remake or not. But it's called Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. I don't know enough about Crisis Core. I never played this game, so Montreal, I kind of let you take this away. Like, is this a remake, you think?
So it looks like a remake. It looks like they actually advanced a lot of, or not advanced, but it looks like they made quality of life changes to a lot of the combat system.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the stuff like your major limit break moves were randomized. You
Yeah.
see in the top corner there that roulette thing.
Okay.
I don't know why they did it like that. Maybe because of the limitations of the PSP.
Yeah.
But they did do it like that. But it didn't really impact your gameplay. It was like an additional bonus. So you still did strategize what material you're gonna make and everything like that. But this game looks fucking amazing, like way better from the PSP game. Looks like almost a full
Yeah.
ass remake. Um,
Yeah.
I can't believe they're actually doing it. I mean, I wanted to do it. I can't wait for everybody to experience it this winter because y'all gonna have the same thing. Y'all experience what I experienced when I played this game, which was he's number one. You know, Zach is number
Oh,
one.
Cloud.
No one can ever beat him. You know, there is no dispute about that.
Yeah.
Who is Cloud? We don't know. He's a bitch boy because Zach is back.
Zach's
Big
name.
Dick Zach is back in the building.
Big Dick
You know,
Zach.
Cloud wish he was Zach.
I mean, he literally
He's
does.
just not. Yeah, he's just not.
I mean,
man.
the whole game is about him believing he is Zach. So yeah, he wishes he was Zach. You know.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, it's okay because Zach is the guy. Zach is that guy. When you guys play this game, he went toe to toe. He's so powerful that he went toe to toe with Sephiroth and Genesis and Angel, and which is like the top 3 soldiers at the time. So y'all don't know about the story. See, I don't even know about the story of Soldier Boy.
Montrell's
I can't wait for
excited.
y'all experience.
Yeah, so it's coming out this winter, no month, but it's I guess going to be out this year. It is coming to PS5, PS4, Switch, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and Steam. So the only thing I want to say about this is I would temper expectations a little bit because of the Switch. The fact that it's coming to Switch is definitely a disappointment. At least
it's
for
only
me.
coming to Switch. It's not coming to PS5.
No, it's coming to all of them, but it's
Okay.
coming to Switch as well, meaning that it needs to run on Switch. So
Yeah,
lowest common denominator, right? They're gonna build the game probably up to a point where it can run on Switch, and then everything else will get some enhancements and whatnot. But you know, so just be wary of that, you know. But regardless,
Yeah.
it does look really cool. So
Yeah, whether you like him or you don't like him, it's nothing you can dispute because he's number one. Whether you like him or you don't like him, nothing you can say because Zach is number one. I want everybody to remember that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your words, Montrell. All right, let's move on to the thing I think everybody was expecting and waiting for. They showed a trailer of Final Fantasy Remake Part 2, which is now called Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And they officially revealed that it will be 3 parts. There will be a third game, and that the second one, will be coming next winter, so winter of 2023. So let's start with the trailer itself, Montreal. What did you think of the trailer? Did you get anything out of it?
No, not really. I was too hyped off of Crisis Core.
Yeah, you were too
To
hyped
be
on
honest
it.
with you, yeah, I was too hyped on it. I honestly didn't even care when they showed. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then I was like, yo, I immediately called my friend about Crisis Core. But yeah, this looks pretty cool. I don't know where they're going with this though, because Zach is alive in this. So,
Well,
spoiler alert. You know,
my 2 biggest takeaways was 1, they showed Cloud and Sephiroth adventuring together a lot in this trailer, which is interesting. Like literally, it looks like there is a game, at least a gameplay segment or 2, where you are Cloud running around with Sephiroth, and I don't know if that's going to be a flashback or what they're doing with that. But that's one thing. The second thing is there's a line in the trailer, if you were paying attention, where Tifa is talking to somebody, presumably Cloud, and is talking about him seeing her dead and asking him if you think she's she's like, do you think I'm an imposter? Like, so makes me wonder, are they killing Tifa?
No.
Are they going to kill Tifa instead of Aerith? Is that what they're doing? Is that what
God,
Nomura's doing? Is he fucking with
Oh
everybody?
my God.
What is he doing? What's he doing, Montrell?
You better not kill Tifa, bro.
I know.
Like, kill Aerith, bro.
Come on, bro.
Oh my
Don't kill Tifa, man. Like Tifa's she's so nice. Like, I mean, they kind of both are, but I mean, I don't know. Like, yeah, so I don't know. This is interesting. I'm very intrigued. I'm in on this series of games, like, very much. The first one proved to me that they have a vision that they are executing. And I don't know. I'm just excited to see it. Also, they showed Zach again in the end of the trailer, like carrying Cloud. I don't know if this is like current time though or in the past. Might have been a flashback. I think I remember the scene from the like original remake game. So
Yeah.
I don't think that was anything new per se, but I don't know.
I don't want them to. This actually confirms that Crisis Core is canon though. Because there's a lot of contingency saying that Crisis Core wasn't canon.
Mm-hmm.
But this does confirm that Crisis Core is canon. But anyway,
Well,
getting back to Rebirth.
remember, this is a different timeline though. Basically, like we're in a different timeline with this series now. Like this isn't Final Fantasy VII anymore. Like we're in a different Final Fantasy VII.
I just don't want Aerith to live, bro. I want her to die again.
Man, why? Why, man? What? Oh, what an asshole, bro! I don't think she's
not
going
a good character to me. I just don't think she's a good character.
Why not? What? What's wrong with Aerith?
Okay, this is a personal thing. I just don't like the whole bubbly like character, like woman character over the hero thing. That shit's so played out now. Like I don't know. I just don't like it. It's so dumb. We went through it the 90s with all the anime and all the video games.
I disagree with you because I think it's a facade. I don't think that's really Aerith. I think she's acting.
Okay. Whatever. Hope she gets stabbed in the chest again. But anyway.
Oh my god. Man. What if it's Tifa, man? He's gonna rip your heart out. No Nomura's gonna he's coming for you, man.
Not my dark hair queen.
I know.
I can't. Shout out to all the Final Fantasy dark hair queens.
Boxing champ. Yuffie?
No, Yuffie's dark hair. She is dark hair, isn't she?
Yeah, she has black hair.
I don't know.
I guess you said queens though. Is Yuffie a queen? I don't know about that. Yeah, Lulu. Fucking Lulu's Lulu. Oh my god. Oh, Jesus. I don't know. I mean, we didn't really see any gameplay or anything, so it's mostly just a tease. What do you think about the date? Go ahead.
I think I got blocked by some people because of my Nomura rant like a couple weeks ago. So I got blocked by a lot of Final Fantasy people. But anyway,
okay. Well, good for you. That's good.
I've been following them for years. It's kind of hurt my heart. It kind of hurt my feelings a little bit.
Oh, that's okay. I'm sorry.
But yeah, it's all good.
I mean, you got to speak your mind, man. Nomura. Okay, this is what I was going to say. I had this thought when I was watching this actually about Nomura. I actually think this is like Nomura at his absolute peak right now. It feels like.
Okay.
No. I'm 100% serious.
Keep going.
This is Nomura like unchained. He's not chained by anything. I think Kingdom Hearts, he can't do what he actually wants to do with it, and he never has been able to, for one reason or another, whether it's Disney or internal Square bullshit or whatever, you know? Yeah. And I think Kingdom Hearts has gotten so convoluted that he can't keep it under control anymore, and it's just a fucking mess now. But this was a clean slate, you know? Okay. And I don't know. I mean, remember, dude, like Final Fantasy VII Remake is fucking excellent, you know? Like
you are right. I cannot deny his presence in this game.
Yeah.
Even though I hate what he did to Kingdom Hearts and I always talk shit about him, I still can't deny the greatness of Final Fantasy VII Remake rather. I can't deny that. It's just I really feel like, man, he's gonna go back to his old ways. He's just gonna be Nomura again. Yeah. And we're gonna get like 7 spin-offs Final Fantasy VII.
I mean, we're kind of there right now. Like we have Crisis Core remake, we have a chibi mobile game remake. I mean, they're doing it kind of, but the thing is,
everything's gonna be canon.
No, but that's the thing so far. It seems like they're not really required viewing it for this series of games. You know, maybe the Crisis Core one is, but you know, that already was kind of canon-ish for Final Fantasy VII. So like that's not that bad. That was an existing game that they're remaking. They're not really making anything new that's like required, you know?
Yeah.
At least so far. They still have time to fuck that up. So winter 2023 release date. Do you think that's going to happen?
Yes. I can see that happening.
I actually agree with you. This game, like this series to me, it feels like Square is on a mission to get this shit fucking right and get it out, you know? Yeah. It's weird. They are weirdly effective with Final Fantasy VII Remake. I don't know. It kind of blows my mind.
I think making it parts was a really good call. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, and then I believe the last part's gonna come out in 2025. Like I think the 2 year cycle, the 2 to 3 year cycle, is a really good cycle. People get to clamor over it, play it again on PC when it re-releases on PC, and then just do the whole cycle all over again. Um, and you're right. I feel like they're not gonna do what they did with or with Kingdom Hearts. I don't think Square is gonna allow that again. I think that was an older Square, and
Mm-hmm.
even if Nomura wanted to do that shit, Square's like, no, this is Final Fantasy VII, bitch. Like, don't do that. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So, um,
It seems like they have a healthy development pipeline for this team, though.
yeah, yep.
Like which is great. It's really good. So I
I
don't know.
feel like I feel like 15 kind of had to die so that we can get here with Final
Final
Fantasy
Fantasy VII
7.
remake could live. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess so.
Oh,
Yeah, it's fair enough. Um, well, I'm excited regardless. I'm looking forward to this game. Um, it's going to be interesting when all three games are out, how big it ends up being, overall. Um, my other question, actually, too, there's other things about this that are interesting. What are they doing with? Are you going to be able to carry over a save from the first game? And if so, like, are your levels? What are your levels going to be when you start this one? Like, are characters going to be like level 20 to start, or are they going to let you carry over some progress but not all? Or are they not going to let you carry over anything? It's kind of interesting to think about.
I think they're gonna let you carry over stuff. I think it's
Yeah.
just gonna either, and if you don't, they're gonna start like a base level, like level 12, 20 or level 30 or whatever the fuck.
Also, are you going to be able to go back to places from the first game? Probably not, but
Probably not.
I would be curious about that.
Probably so. Who knows?
Maybe later in the third part. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe later.
We'll see. All right, Macho. We got a lot still to get through, so let's move on. We got a fucking whole showcase ahead of us to talk about. So, Xbox and Bethesda had their big showcase on Sunday, and it was an hour and like 40 minutes or so. It was
Mm-hmm.
fucking beefy, and uh, the first half of it was absolutely snore inducing. I fucking wanted to fall asleep. I almost turned it off. Like it was that bad. So, I
Me
mean,
too.
yeah,
Let's just go through this.
let's go through
Just
it.
go.
There's some games
Yeah,
here we're not going to talk about much. I'm not like we'll mention every game, but like we're not going to go deep on each one. So
yeah.
Redfall, probably a big one though. Redfall, we saw some gameplay. Finally, we actually saw this fucking game and what it is. Sort of. I'm still a little unclear on what it is, but um, from Arcane, it looks like an Arcane game, like fucking through and through. It looks like Dishonored. It looks like Deathloop. What do you think of it, Montreal?
Uh, I still don't know about it. It looks really cool, but I don't know what it is about their style of games. I never have the appeal to play those games. I have
Same.
no idea why. And it's not
Same.
like they're bad games at all. I just feel
Yeah.
so bad. I just never have the appeal to play their type of first person shooters.
Yeah, I just don't know what it is. They it's almost like there's too much flash going on for me. Like I don't know. It just and what they showed of this, to be honest, like for me, like I,
Oh no, the gameplay looked really weak in my opinion
yeah,
with this
that's
game.
where I came down on it too. It looked really kind of boring. Like I don't know, like the way the vampires were attacking and how quickly they were getting killed and the ways they were killing them. It just I don't know. It didn't appeal in the way. And also it kind of feels like not what originally was we were looking at. It kind of looked I don't know. I felt like this game was going to be more like
Third person.
darker. Yeah, or yeah, and third person maybe even as well. I mean, it seems like there's going to be co-op in it, but the game will have a campaign, but I don't know what the multiplayer entails. Like, um, are you going to be able to like level your character up and get like equipment, or is it just like you know, I don't know, just leveling up your character, which I think that's mainly what they focused on in prior games. So,
Yeah.
um, I don't know. It looks okay. It looks fine. I'm sure people are fucking falling over themselves, with hype though. So
It just didn't look. Yeah, I thought it would have took a more serious tone, but I don't know. Uh, I don't fucking know. Maybe this is the best call for them. I don't fucking know, but yeah,
All
I'm
right,
just
let's
not
move
really
on.
too.
Clearly,
Yeah,
we're not very hyped about it.
yeah.
Next game they showed, and this one. So when I was watching this live, I didn't know this, but this apparently was like a fucking big surprise. Was a trailer for Hollow Knight Silk Song. People have been fucking chomping at the bit to get some footage of this game. And actually, let me let's see. Oh, one thing I forgot: Redfall's coming in 2023 as well.
Okay,
So
cool.
let me pull up the. I need to find
Yeah,
the.
I think they did say all the games shown are coming within the next 12 months, right?
Yes, yes.
Except for Starfield. I don't think that's coming in the next 12 months.
No, they said that too. They said every
Okay.
single game, is coming in the next 12 months. I'm trying to find the actual showcase. Showcase, because I want to make sure we get the release dates on this stuff correct. Here while we're going, because I don't know if Hollow Knight had a release date or not. I don't think so. But what did you think of this trailer, Montreal? While I'm looking for this information,
I actually maybe want to play the original one, to be honest with you.
yeah.
I didn't know the gameplay was like this smooth. And
Well,
yeah,
so okay, so there was no release date; it was just a trailer. But
yeah,
uh, okay, if Hollow Knight is this like is this good, looks this good, like later in the game, then I might go back and play it because I tried Hollow Knight a couple of
uh-huh.
years ago, and I really was not like impressed by it when I played it, and I played probably a couple hours of it,
Okay.
and it just didn't like it just wasn't. I don't know. Like I didn't find the combat fun, but this game like looks fucking crazy. There's like all this air dashes and shit. Like this looks like a fucking Mega Man. Like, you know,
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm like, what the fuck, dude? So, um, like this looks really cool. Maybe I'll just play this. I don't know. Maybe I don't need to play the original one, but so to me this looked really cool. I think I mean obviously this game's probably going to do really well. There's a big cult following with Hollow Knight. It was a very very successful indie release. Um, but they did say it's going to be playable day one with Game Pass as well, so that's kind of a big get too for them.
Yeah, this game looks fucking this game looks really fucking good. Like
Mhm.
that game, I just watched the trailer again. That shit looks really fucking good.
Yep.
Um, I don't remember the first Hollow Knight looking as flashy as this one looks.
I don't think it
I just
is. That's my point, I guess.
yeah, this game looks really good though. That was actually a surprise for me when I first watched it as well. I was like, oh, this actually looks really fucking good. So yeah,
Mhm. All right. Well, the next game they showed was something called High on Life, which is a shooter where your guns talk to you, and that's about all I took away from it. It's coming in October of 2022. It's going to be playable day one on Game Pass. You have anything you want to say, Montreal?
nope.
All right, fair enough. We'll move on. Next one. This one though actually was very intriguing. This was a big announcement that was kind of buried in this fucking conference. All games that Riot makes, League of Legends Wild Rift, Legends of Runeterra, Teamfight Tactics, and Valorant, they're coming to Xbox platforms, and they're also all going to have Game Pass related unlocks, including with League specifically. I believe they said all characters will be unlocked if you play the game through Game Pass.
That's insane.
And that is fucking insane. And I might actually play the fucking game.
That's insane. That's actually so you can play it through the Xbox client, right?
I
On
don't know
your
how it's gonna
PC.
work. I don't know how it's gonna work. I'm sure it'll
So
still
there,
use. I'm sure it'll still
so
use their client. They'll just connect it to your Xbox account, probably.
okay, that's really cool.
I mean, that's a
shouts
big.
out to
That's a
Riot, man.
dude. That is a
That's
big get.
actually
That is a big get.
that's really. I mean, their platforms are already big in itself. This is a win-win for both people. I mean, Xbox gets their player base, and then they get Xbox's player base. That's Yeah,
Mhm.
I have no complaints. I think that's really cool. Yeah, that's really cool actually.
Yeah, I mean, I like that's my biggest complaint with League is the fact that I can't play any character I want. Like I have to
Yep.
earn them all, you know, or buy them with money. You know, I've
And
always hated that about League. And
I think that was DJ's point too. He wanted to play like the original League of Legends because he loves all the characters from.
yeah.
He plays the team fight tactics,
Yep.
and he just but you know you got to buy the characters and stuff like
No,
that. So
that's a big reason I always gravitated toward Dota. It was not only my legacy with Dota, but it was the fact that all characters are free in Dota. There's no cost. Everybody's available. And that has been my issue with League from the get-go. You cannot like it's always been a kind of a joke to me that League has this huge competitive scene with ranked and shit because it's like how can you possibly justify letting people play ranked when they don't have access to every character, you know? Like that's insane because somebody could pick a character and you suddenly don't have access to the counter because you didn't buy it, you know? Like that is
yep.
fucking terrible. Like that is horrible to me. Like completely imbalanced, like frankly. So I don't know. I mean, obviously they're never going to change that model at least with League as it stands now, but this is a really nice alternative for people who have Game Pass to play League, and this may get me to try the game again. Honestly, because that was my biggest gripe. I didn't want to have to earn all the characters, you know. So it's
Yes,
a big get.
sir. Just come on back, baby.
It's a
Let's
big
go.
get. It's a big get. Valorant as well too. You're gonna get all the agents in Valorant also,
Oh, okay.
which I think that's kind of big too. All right. Next one they showed was a Plague Tale Requiem. This is the sequel to a Plague Tale Innocence. And it is a third person game where you know there's combat, there's stealth. It seems very story driven. It is coming in 2022. It's going to be playable day one with Game Pass. This is not. I don't know why, but this series does not appeal to me really in any way. But
I got a super hot take about this game.
go ahead.
I think this game would have got way more recognition if this was PlayStation game. This game is actually really good.
Well, the
The
thing is,
story is really
this
good.
game
I
has
think
gotten a lot of recognition.
it has, but I think it would have almost been on like Last of Us level if this was like a Sony game. That's
Yeah,
just my hot take.
like a first
I
party
really
Sony
think,
game.
yeah, if this was a party Sony game, Sony fans would be sucking this game's dick from the back. Like, there's no denying it.
Yeah, yeah.
But since it's not, like, it's just you gotta play it. I feel that way about Hellblade as well. I feel that way about those two games.
Yeah.
Those are the two franchises. I think if those are on PlayStation first or Sony exclusives, people would be like on the ground for those games. Yep.
Do you think I would like it?
Yes. It's a narrative driven game.
Yeah,
The
I'm
story is
sure I
actually really
would.
good.
I just don't know
Yeah.
why. I just don't find it appealing. Like the time period it's set in, like all the the imagery and everything, the giant
Yeah, I mean,
fucking
if you don't
rat swarm.
if you don't like that shit, then probably not. But I think it's a really interesting take on how the people were living in that period, or
Yeah.
what you had to do to survive in that period, and like the little girls and their adventures. It's not about the period; it's about the girls and what they had to do to survive. And
Yeah,
I like
it's
that narrative.
character driven.
Yeah,
Okay, I might check it out. I'm pretty sure it's pretty short, right?
yeah. You can get on Game Pass for free. I think. At this
Yeah, I'm
point.
sure you can. All right. Next game they showed was Forza Motorsport. They are doing a reboot apparently, and this is coming in the spring of 2023. It's going to be playable day one with Game Pass, of course. Any thoughts on this, Montrell?
Yes. So I don't know how I got into this side of Twitter. I was in race car Twitter, and people. I need to talk to Dennison about this. I think I'm going to see him this weekend. Actually, people hate Gran Turismo 7, bro. Like they're like, Forza has overtaken.
Well, this
Gran
is the
Turismo at this
simulation
point.
one, right? Is
Yeah.
Motorsport? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and they saw this and they're like, yeah, this we're gonna wait for this because fucking Gran Turismo is just not it. Like people are like, yo, this game, you think Gran Turismo is good? Haha, what the fuck? or Gran Turismo 7 rather is good. What the fuck? Like, I didn't know there was such a disdain for Gran Turismo 7. Like, people actually do not like that game, and
Mm-hmm.
they're looking forward to Forza Motorsport. So
It's
if they can
interesting.
capture that audience, man, that will be a huge win for Microsoft.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because I think graphically, I actually don't think it looks that good um, compared to Gran Turismo, but that's not all that matters. So
Yeah.
it is interesting. It'll be interesting to see. Um, I don't know. I want to check out one of these racing games at some point. I just never have time to do it. Like I can never justify doing it. So but maybe one day I'll get there. Um,
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day, probably not. All right. Next thing they showed was Flight Simulator is getting a 40th anniversary edition, and they are adding aerial vehicles, gliders, helicopters. Oh my god! And it is going to be available in November 2022. Obviously, coming to Game Pass day one as well. I don't have anything really to say about this other than the fact that I think it is really cool that Microsoft brought Flight Simulator back from the dead, and that people are getting their Flight Simulator game with modern technology. I'm sure it's fucking badass to play if you're into this stuff.
Yeah, this is one of those games that has like not a weird cult following, but it's a cult following that you wouldn't expect. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm glad it's back too. When people fucking love, like the people that play this game, love this fucking game. Like it's nothing you can tell them about this game.
Well, I'm
So
sure it's pretty badass, dude. Like, honestly, the part about it that I think is really cool is the fact that, dude, like you can fly anywhere. It's literally in the entirety of Earth, and you can fly fucking anywhere. And I think that is a really cool thing. That you can just fly around, go through the mountains, like fucking go over the desert, go
yeah,
wherever, and that is really cool.
yeah, I think it's really cool too. I have no complaints about it.
All right, fair enough. All right, let's move on. The thing everybody's waiting for, DJ, Overwatch 2. Obviously, this stuff is going to start becoming a part of these Xbox streams now that Activision is getting purchased. They're not purchased yet, but we're on our way, and you're getting a taste of it now. So, yeah, Overwatch 2. The game got a release date. It is coming on October 4th. God, brain. On PC, Xbox. We don't know yet if it's coming to PlayStation. I'm sure it is,
Yeah,
but
I'm sure it is too. Yeah,
it is going to be a fully free to play game with basically live service model. So it'll have battle pass. It's going to have an in-game store. It will have live service updates every so often, in a certain cadence. I'm sure. From what I've heard, though, the PVE is not going to be ready on October 4th. So it is just going to be multiplayer at launch. Montrell, any thoughts on this?
the trailer, the game looks actually really good. I mean, I know it's just Overwatch, but I don't know. It looks like they updated a lot of stuff. It's kind of hard for me to like tell you specifically. Like the game just it actually looks different.
Yeah,
It looks like it plays a lot faster, but and smoother.
yeah.
Like an actual first person shooter, if that makes any sense. From what the gameplay they show, I haven't played the game yet. I haven't watched actual gameplay footage of it. It looks really good though.
Mm-hmm.
I was interested. And I'm like, oh, this actually looks pretty decent. So I don't know.
Well, this is their chance. They ultimately they fucked up Overwatch 1, and this is their chance. This is probably their one chance to make Overwatch super relevant again. So we will see what happens with it, and if people gravitate towards it in a way that they have not, in recent years with the original game. So I am intrigued by that for sure. All right. Moving on, next game they showed was something called Ara History Untold. We didn't actually see any gameplay of this, but I did a little research onto this. This is a 4X strategy game in the vein of
Mm,
Civilization, and it is going to be a competitor to Civilization. This is Microsoft's attempt to compete in that space, and good, because we need more competitors to Civ. Firaxis is complacent. They don't give a shit about their fans. They don't try. They don't give a shit about the details of their games. They make good games, but they don't care about anything around that. They don't care about platforms it's on. They don't care about cross-platform. They don't care about anything their fans want. Fuck Firaxis. I hope this game's good.
All right, I have nothing to say about it, but
Yeah,
yeah,
no, I just got my little rant out. There's no release
yeah,
date, but it'll be on Game Pass day one as well.
okay.
Next thing, Bethesda came out, started talking about their shit. Elder Scrolls Online is getting a new expansion called High Isle. It is actually coming out very soon on June 21st. Anything to say about this, Montrell?
Not really. I haven't played Elder Scrolls Online in so long.
I've never
Um,
played it. It's like to the point that I'm actually curious to try it. I'm sure there's
yeah, I
so much
haven't.
content there that I would be occupied for months.
Yeah, yeah, it's a weird game. Because it tries to blend MMO and then traditional Elder Scroll game,
Mm-hmm.
like gameplay and mission structure and everything of that nature.
Yeah.
So it's a weird game. At least when I played it years ago, I've heard they reworked the game a lot. It's a lot more better, a lot more fluid.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually might jump into it again as well. So just to see what it's about, like play it for like a couple of weeks or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, and then put it down.
Yeah.
'Cause I remember our friend Tiara, she loved the game. She said the game was like fucking awesome.
I
Like
mean, I'm sure at
so,
this point it's probably fucking really good. An MMO that survived this long, like almost inherently has to be good. You know,
yeah,
it's kind of hard for a game that's not good to survive that long for in the MMO
yeah.
space. So I would anticipate it's probably pretty good. All right, moving on. More Bethesda stuff. Fallout 76. They showed a new DLC called The Pit, which I'm assuming is Pittsburgh. It's coming in September 2022. It's going to be on Game Pass, of course. Any thoughts, Montreal?
No.
Okay, moving on. Next thing they showed was Forza Horizon 5 is getting a Hot Wheels DLC. It looks like Hot Wheels with big ass real cars, you know?
Yeah, and this
So,
should look actually really fucking fun. Like
yeah.
I was like, it actually sold me a little bit. I'm like, damn, I might actually play this. Like I actually want to play Hot Wheels again.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well, it's coming on
yeah.
July 19th as well. So, yeah, Hot Wheels is funny. I was in Dollar Tree like before I went on my trip a couple weeks ago, and they have a whole section of like Hot Wheels, and I was like, dude, man, I haven't I haven't thought about Hot Wheels in a long ass fucking time, dude. I was like, man, I actually had a lot of Hot Wheels when I was a kid. I was like
I
really
did
into these
too.
fucking things. And it's like now they're just like Dollar Tree like Gotsies basically.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know, but good old Hot Wheels. All right, next thing they showed was Arc 2. Um,
Family.
for whatever reason, Vin Diesel's in it.
This is about family.
It's about family. Well, he was fucking riding a T-Rex, so I mean, this game looks ridiculous. I'm gonna be honest. This game does not appeal to me at all because of how ridiculous it looks. But I'm sure people are really fucking hyped about this. So,
And they missed their opportunity to say something about family. I don't know why they did, but they missed their
yeah,
opportunity.
dude, he should have been on the T Rex, and it pans out, and he just goes, "It's about family," you know, or and that's it. Because he had a little girl on the fucking T Rex with him, you know.
Yeah.
Um, So, but I just find the fact that he's riding a T Rex ridiculous. The idea that the T Rex would be wearing armor is completely ridiculous. Like, I
Well,
don't know.
it's like it's him, Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious dinosaurs.
Yeah. Oh my god, would they do that in the next Fast and Furious?
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, so it is coming in 2023. That's the release window we got. But
Cool.
yeah, if you're looking forward to Arc 2, there it is. All right, the next game. I was in the middle of eating during this thing, and this game ruined. This is the game that pissed me off because I was eating, and Scorn comes on, and this game is fucking disgusting. Like that's the whole thing. It's just a disgusting looking game. Like that's the whole thing. Like everything's fleshy and fucking gross. Your guns are made out of flesh. Like it's fucking weird. But I was eating, and it just fucking ruined my appetite. And then the conference up to this point, like the showcase up to this point, has sucked mostly for me. Like I thought it was been really boring. They've showed in games I don't give a shit about, like nothing really exciting, no like cool reveals really for the most part. And like that in combination with my appetite being ruined, just I was like, man, I'm about to turn this off. But yeah, Scorn. I mean, it's a horror game. It's coming October 23rd, 2022. What do you think? Any interest?
This is one horror game I am not interested in playing.
Yeah, dude.
It looks too disgusting. I'm
I don't
sorry.
I don't know who this is supposed to appeal to. Um, I mean, the style is interesting in and of itself, but dude, it's like it's unnecessarily nasty. Like it's just I don't know. It turned me off. So all right. Next thing they showed was a game called Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn. And what do you know? It seems like the gameplay centers around a flintlock pistol that you use. It's coming in 2023. Any thoughts, Montrell, on this one?
I think the game looked actually pretty cool. A lot of people were hating on the game. I think it looked pretty cool.
So this was right after Scorn. This was another one where I was just like, third person action gameplay. You shoot a pistol at people.
Well, you actually like using the axe and stuff like that.
I know,
so.
but I was really jaded at this particular moment, and I didn't give this game a fair shake in my brain. You know, it does look cool.
Yeah, it looks really cool. People were. It did give me God of War vibes. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But it gave me. I don't know. It just looked different enough for it to not be God of War.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm actually gonna pick it up when it comes out. I love action games, so I'm gonna try it out. So
Okay, fair enough. All right, the next game was Minecraft Legends. So this is coming in 2023, and I thought at first they were doing the thing that I'm sure there's a few companies out there that are dreading the idea of Mojang doing, which is making a full-on Minecraft RPG. But no, that is not what this is. It looks like a strategy game,
yep.
action strategy game that is set in Minecraft. I'm sure you'll be able to build shit, in it. But yeah, that's about it. Any thoughts?
No, not really.
All right, fair enough. Next game they showed was called Lightyear Frontier. This looks like a farming game of some sort where you were farming on a foreign planet with like a mech.
This is the part I was just like, all right. I even tweeted like, yeah, Xbox should be greenlighting anything because
I agree. This was the one. I mean, like we're still in the throes of the bad part of the showcase to me. And this was like the point where I was like, what are we doing? What is this? Like, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to badmouth the game. Like it looks well made, and everything like that. But I don't like, is this really something they're showing on like a showcase like this? Like who's the audience for this?
people who love those type of games, like the Stardew Valley people and the Harvest Moon type people, all those people. Like, there's a huge community. Like, even I even go as far as to say like the Animal Cross people and shit like that. Like, this is a huge fucking casual gamer thing. Like, people
I just
love
don't
these
think
games.
this game has that appeal though.
It doesn't. It legitimately doesn't. I thought it was Titanfall. Like, I thought it was a Titanfall spinoff.
Yeah. Titanfall farming.
Do you see fucking what's his face, Pathfinder?
Yeah.
Gather up, friends.
Hey, friend. I like your crops. And then you got like a Titanfall pilot, like a Titan pilot, just like Titan deployed. And then it's got like this really upbeat, happy music.
Stand by for agriculture fall.
Stand by for agriculture. All right, let's stop making fun of this game. We can move on.
Yeah.
So the next one is called The Last Case of Benedict
Oh, you
Fox.
skip one.
I did.
It was gun. Yeah,
Oh, I did
Gunfire
skip one.
Reborn.
Gunfire Reborn. I'm sorry, Gunfire Reborn is a cooperative FPS that is coming in October 2022. There are some roguelite elements. I don't even remember this one. Okay. This was another game where you have really weird looking guns.
Yeah, you're fighting. You're like furries, pretty much. You're animals.
Yeah.
Your animals fighting other animals. You know, it's actually a mobile game. And they're making remake it.
Okay.
They're making it for the consoles now. So
Interesting. That's why it looks the way it does. Okay.
yeah.
It's a mobile game.
So
Makes sense. All right.
yeah. This is the part of the conference. I was just like, all right, Xbox, like everything. I think the next couple of games, I was just like, y'all just greenlighting any fucking thing at this point. Yeah, yeah. I didn't get out of this until we'll get to it until Diablo 4, but from this part on, I was just like, this is fucking ridiculous. But keep going. I'm sorry.
Okay, let's move on to the next game. Is The Last Case of Benedict Fox, 2D platformer. It's coming in spring 2023. It will be a day one Game Pass game. I mean,
nothing about this game appeals to me.
I don't know. I mean, this kind of game has been made before. I don't know.
And that's exactly what I meant. I mean, that's what I mean. Like, if you want to, what's the game like? Called Left Alone? Not Left Alone. Limbo.
Yeah, Limbo.
Yeah, Limbo. Yeah, let's go play Limbo.
Right.
Play Limbo.
Came out like fucking 13 years ago at this point. Like,
yeah.
Even longer. It might even be 14. Like, Limbo is pretty old. But dude, that's my point. It's just like, I don't know. We've seen this kind of game before. The next one is called As Dusk Falls. This is coming on July 19th, and this is a narrative adventure. So this game, okay, this is the game that kind of broke me out of my like falling asleep mentality. I will say this game does look interesting. It is a choice-based game, it looks like, where there is kind of like a quantum dream like butterfly effect where different things can happen based on those choices. Now, does that mean it's going to be good? I have no idea. Am I going to play it? Probably not. You have any interest?
Oh, okay. You're done. But this game looks complete other shit. This is the worst showcase I've ever fucking seen of a fucking video game. Shit, this game looks complete. Why the fuck? I was so mad when I saw this shit, bro. Mm-hmm. Stop the TV shit. Like, what was the interactive drama? No, I don't. Bro, this looks like GTA loading screens. Are we fucking kidding? Are you kidding me right now? Yeah. This is not a good game. No, I don't fucking care. I don't even care if this wins Game of the Year next year. I'm still gonna stand by it because I'm not letting go.
You are right.
How much
Yeah, I'm watching this trailer again. It definitely has a very TV-like vibe to its.
It's so disgusting.
Also, the weird like stillness of it, where everybody's in like 2D, you know, and like they're like a slideshow basically.
So ugly to me. Oh my god,
it is.
I thought like that was like, you know, like the cover art or something, and then like they're gonna actually go into gameplay.
Actually, the game. That is an interesting point. I didn't even think about that. Like,
yeah, that's the actual game, bro. Like, that's not good at all. Like, it's ugly to me. This is one of those things where the art style makes the breaks for the game, and this art style completely broke the game for me. Mm-hmm. Like, it could be the best choice-based game ever, and it's multiplayer, by the way.
Wait, what?
How? They announced it. They said this is multiplayer. I don't know how it's fucking multiplayer. They say you can play up to 8 players.
Even in this article we're looking at, it says the art style is quite divisive. I guess so. I had no idea.
Bro, that art style. I have never been so turned off by an art style since before like another game. I can't remember. I can't remember that game. Oh, you know what art style turned me off? It wasn't a video game. It's an anime. One Piece. Like, this is the One Piece for me. Like, this could be the greatest fucking game ever. I would never watch it or give it a chance because the art style is so fucking ugly. Mm-hmm. So I can't do it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. All right, let's move on before Montrell pops a blood vessel. Next game they showed is actually a game that's already out. It's
Yeah.
called Naraka Blade Point. It is a third-person battle royale action game that comes from NetEase. It is coming on July 23rd to Xbox, PC, and Xbox Cloud streaming, and Game Pass as well. Any thoughts on this, Montrell? Does this appeal to you at
Uh,
all?
it looks okay, but I don't really like the cheap action games. Like it looks like it has that
Yeah,
MMO action. How
yeah,
Black Desert plays. Like
yeah.
that's what it looks like to me, and I don't really like that type of action game. So
Flashy, but
no substance
no
to it.
substance.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's kind of what it looks like to me too. Maybe we're wrong. I don't know, but who
yeah,
knows?
maybe
But
we are.
I don't care to try
A lot
it.
of people are
So
actually hyped about it. So
yeah. All right, the next game. All right, this was the first like truly disappointing moment of the stream.
oh my god,
Pentiment was the next game shown, and
this is another game. Yeah, awesome.
this was so I'm sitting here watching this, right, and I kind of my eyes glazed over at this point. I wasn't even paying attention to this game, and then it gets to the end, and it says from Obsidian Entertainment, and I literally groaned like, "Are you fucking kidding me? This is what they're doing with Obsidian? Like what is going on in Xbox? Like what are y'all greenlighting over here, dude?"
Bro, I that's exactly why I tweeted that Xbox be greenlighting anything, bro. This is from the New Vegas Fallout director, bro.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Why is he not remaking Fallout New Vegas 2?
Yeah,
Why is he making
why
this?
isn't he remaking Fallout 4 but better, like
Yeah,
what
what are we doing, bro?
I don't
Like
know,
y'all need
dude.
to get hits. Like I understand you want to get like developer freedom and everything. This
No, this
probably
is
was
a
a passion
step too
project.
far, man. Like it's funny. I bet this game is probably going to be really good. I bet it's really going to be good. Like that's the irony here. This is probably going to be a really fucking good game, but at the same time it's just like, bro, this is Obsidian. Like what I don't like let them make it fucking RPG, man. Like that's what they
It's
do.
it's
Like
not it's not let them make, bro. It's
make them make
make
them
them make.
make. You own them. Make them make an
because
RPG.
because we're letting them do shit now.
I mean,
Obsidian. Oh my god, it's like it's fucking rare all over again. Oh my
well,
god, they turn
okay.
into rare.
Now,
Oh my god.
to be fair, people will point out to us they are making Avowed, which is like they're and they're
Okay,
making
yeah.
the Outer Worlds too. So they are making RPGs, but it's like I don't know. How big is this fucking studio? They got 4 games going right now, that we know of. Because we're gonna talk about that again with the next game that is shown. So
Well, for grounded, right?
yeah.
I mean, we might as well just talk about it because I'm done talking about fucking
Well, Peniment's
Pentiment.
coming out in November 2022. Also going to be on
There
Game
you go.
Pass. That's it. All right,
Yep.
Grounded. Yes. So
Grounded.
Grounded is coming out of early access
Yeah.
in September 2022.
And I
Go ahead.
asked people in my timeline about it, and they said they actually love this game. So
I
I'm
have
thinking
been
about trying
intrigued.
it.
I have been intrigued by this game since they announced it. I know it's not. Again, we're making fun of this, right? For them making whatever they want, but this looks like a good game, and I kind of
Yeah,
want to play it
I
when it
want
comes
to too.
out. I think it's co-op. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, we
It
can play
is.
through it together, for sure. So I don't know, might be worth a shot, but at the same time, man, I don't know. I kind of would rather them make like Pillars of Eternity 3 or something. I don't, some
Fallout New Vegas 2 or
yeah,
something.
I don't know, man. Just fucking
Well, I'm glad So before we move on to the next game, like this is the problem Xbox has, and I think Xbox is doing what they would do in Sony. The problem is, I think Sony is way better at greenlighting shit that makes sense.
yeah,
I'm pretty sure. Like Insomniac came to them with some
off the
Pentiment,
wall
yeah,
shit. Yeah.
Pentiment ideas. They're like, hey, we want to make a game like Pentiment, and they're like, what the fuck is this? No, make fucking Ratchet and Clank or
Wolverine.
Spider-Man. Real, Wolverine. Go make something good. Like, what the fuck?
I just think I think what it is, I think the difference is I think Sony has cultivated a studio culture within their studio family, and Sony has a style of game that they're known for that they make really well, and I think they've hired talent and bought studios that fit that vision and want to make those kind of games. That's the
Yeah.
problem with what Xbox has done is they have no culture. They've had no culture, and they continue to have no culture with their overall studio lineup and the overall company. That what games does Xbox make? Shooters. That's the only thing they're really known for, you know. Otherwise, they're not known for really anything. And that this is the problem. All these studios, they're trying to be nice and let them make what they want and keep them happy, but it's not contributing to something. Like it's not these games like Pentiment and Grounded, no offense to them, they are not enhancing the Xbox brand in any way, shape, or form, you know?
Yeah. No, you're right. And then you got games like As Dusk Falls, and you're like, well, what are we doing with our lives? So
Yeah. Right.
I
So,
don't know. I feel like these are they need to play on their strengths.
mhm.
When Xbox 360 was out, that's the area they really need to look at. We had games like Fable, which are third person RPG action games.
Mhm.
We had games like people were playing primarily they were playing Fallout on on Xbox game on Xbox hardware. So like play into that. Play into like your first person RPGs, your first person shooters, some of your third person RPGs that you have. Like play into that like
Yeah.
Western RPG feel because that's what to me that's what the Xbox was known for. Western RPGs, whether it be first person or third person.
Yeah.
Like I experienced Mass Effect on the Xbox console,
Yep.
so like it feels weird to me when I play Mass Effect on my PlayStation 5. It feels really weird to me. That's a game I should have been playing on my Xbox.
Mhm.
So like play into those strengths. And they just I don't know they refuse to for
Well, I
some
think the
reason.
other frustrating part is because like Obsidian, as we just said, right? They're making two games that I would consider indie-esque, you know, but they're also making two AAA RPGs with Avowed and Outer Worlds too, right? So they
Yeah,
are, to be fair to them, actually doing both, right? But the problem, this is the problem, is that Xbox isn't showing us any of the AAA shit. You know, all they're
yep,
showing us is this indie level stuff constantly over and over and over again. And obviously that makes sense because these games are easier to make. They take less time to make. You know, they're going to come out sooner. But if you keep doing this over and over and over again, it's just frustrating. You know, like if you're on an Xbox fanboy, like what am I looking forward to right now? I mean, we're going to talk about Starfield later. I'm sure that's the one a lot of people would point to, but like for somebody like me, like none of the games they're announcing or talking about that of AAA or even the indie level stuff, like it's not appealing to me really, and I think that goes the same for you as well. So I don't know.
yeah. Like even the next game that they're going to show was a stealth action. It's a stealth action game.
Yeah,
Um,
Erebon
but
Shadow Legacy.
yeah, but that's to me it's just another remake of what the fuck that game came out on the Switch. Anyway, it's like a that version of that game with mechs, and I'm like, what are we doing, bro? Like it looks okay, it looks decent. I might play it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but
yeah, it doesn't
I'm
look
not really.
bad. I mean,
Yeah,
it's coming in 2023. It's just again though, like I don't know. We've seen these games before. And I think the problem is like people would probably say Sony's games. Like we've seen Sony's games before too. The difference there's a difference though. The quality bar that Sony hits is so fucking high with their first party stuff that it's like it makes it okay. You know, Xbox isn't hitting that quality bar. You know, and as such, they're just not. It's just not as interesting. You know, so I don't know. All right, Montreal. Let's get to the one that we probably actually want to talk about here. Diablo 4. This is finally where they like got me out of my fucking seat and was like, okay, something I want to see, you know? Um,
oh my god, bro, I hate this trailer so much.
well, okay, first things first. They actually put a release year on this at the end of the trailer. This is a big deal. 2023.
Yeah,
Uh, the second thing is that it only said Xbox consoles and PC. Now, obviously, this is an Xbox showcase, so they're not going to put Switch uh, and otherwise, but they actually did. Oh no, they didn't. Never mind. All these trailers, like they were all like that for the most part. So, um, more than likely, this game's coming to PlayStation as well. I would expect,
Yeah.
but just something to note. Uh, Overall, though, Montrell, what did you think of the Diablo 4 Necromancer trailer?
Uh, so I'm gonna skip forward to the. No, I'm not gonna skip forward. I hate the trailer. They did all that just to say this is Diablo 4, and I was like, okay.
Yeah,
Like I don't maybe because I'm not like a huge Diablo fan. Like it really wasn't like a big deal for me. And I looked at the timeline, and everybody else was like, "Oh, okay, this is Diablo 4." Like like the trailer was just non climactic.
not
I don't
exciting.
know. It wasn't exciting at all. It was just, oh, yeah, we can play as a necromancer now in Diablo 4, a game we already know that's coming. Why didn't you just start off with saying this is Diablo fucking 4 and then show this? Why did we have to go through this whole hour long thing thinking this is a whole new game and it's not, it's Diablo 4.
Yeah, I'm kind of
Um
disappointed too that the last class is a Necromancer. I know that it's probably not a popular opinion, but I I don't know. It's an overplayed archetype in RPGs. I'm sorry, especially ARPGs. Like I kind of want something new. That's the thing with Blizzard with Diablo. Like they don't go into new territory with their class designs very often.
yeah.
And it's kind of annoying to me. Like is all the entire class lineup is shit they've done in other Diablo games. It's like
Yeah.
I like, to be honest, the rogue is probably the freshest thing they've done because they haven't done a true rogue since the first game. Um,
Yeah.
so it's like, and that's fucking crazy, but it is what it is. Like the rest of them are all played out. Like sorceress is in every fucking Diablo game. Fucking barbarian is in every fucking Diablo game. Druid was in Diablo 2, was a big one in Diablo 2. I don't think it was in no, it definitely wasn't in Diablo 3. So maybe that one's pretty fresh too. And then Necromancer's been in the last two games as well. So it's like, I mean, I don't know. It's just they. So I was a little disappointed with that, but otherwise, what did you think of the game? The look of the game.
The game looked really cool actually.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're trying to capture that Diablo 1/2 esque feel.
Yes, I agree.
Um, for some reason, the game still looks pretty light. I don't know why. I don't know how to say it. But it's hard. It's not their fault. I just think it's really hard to recapture that, especially Diablo 1. Like they're never going to get that back.
Yeah,
Um, I know a lot of people will say Diablo 2, but something about Diablo 1 was so fucking creepy at the time. That game was legitimately scary.
yes,
To me, it was. And you're never gonna get that back. Um, now this, if you want to say this is like a spiritual section or like the creepy vibe is Diablo 2 but updated, yeah, I can definitely agree with that. I feel like it's still a little bit lighthearted, but it's still it's
yeah.
in
The
between
character's
Diablo 2 and 3.
still it is. Yeah, it's not all the way cartoony, but there's still an aspect of that there.
Yeah.
To me, and I don't know. It's like it looks good. Like it looks fine. I think the graphics are going to serve the game fine, but I think you're right about the atmosphere. I just don't think they're ever going to be able to recapture Diablo 1's atmosphere, and that they don't seem. They said they were going for that, but I just don't see it here. Like I don't
Yeah.
find the thing is. Okay, the reason Diablo 1's creepy is because the game fucking builds up the creep factor over the course of the game, and you start out early on, you're just fighting like skeletons and zombies, nothing like fucking crazy, right? And then eventually they start kind of morphing into more abomination esque enemies, like kind of grotesque things. And eventually you get far enough down and you are literally in hell fighting demons. And that
Mhm.
entire time, the game is really fucking dark. Whereas
Exactly.
here with this, it's like the game is really well lit for the most part, and the enemies like it's just that over the top, ridiculous, like undead slash demonic enemies where they're like they got fucking horns coming out of their fucking dick, like
Yeah.
it's just like I don't know. I just like I actually kind of prefer the more simplistic design in ARPGs, especially one like Diablo. I kind of prefer that over the top nature that they go for, where the enemies kind of look they're trying to make them look intimidating and gross and grotesque, and it's like I don't really need that, like that's not accomplishing, I think, what they want it to. It kind of makes the game ridiculous looking
Yeah.
ultimately, so but
But besides the look and the feel of the game,
yeah.
I think the gameplay
Mhm.
is holy shit. Like,
Yes, which is the
this is what
biggest
I've
thing
been
that
waiting
matters,
for.
right?
Yeah, this is the ARPG I've been waiting for out
Yeah.
of all the ARPGs out right now.
Hmm.
Uh, the the melee combat looks really good and flashy, but still strategic. The mage classes look really good. The
Bro, the
I don't know
road
if you call them like rogue classes or
fucking,
whatever,
oh
like the
my
archer and stuff
god,
like that.
bro, I'm so excited. Oh,
Yeah, man. Like
I haven't had
this
a
game.
true class, like true rogue class like that in a game in forever, dude. Like in an ARPG. Um, yeah, I'm very excited about that one.
Yeah, and I don't know. It looks like it's gonna be. I'm hoping the skill trees are as complex as uh Grim Dawn.
Hmm.
But I just love the flashiness in this game. Like it reminds me, but I want the flashiness
The
and
movement
fighting
and
style and
yeah,
gameplay of Diablo 3. Like I
yes,
want Grim Dawn and I want Diablo 3 to have a baby. And I'm
married,
hoping
yeah.
this is Diablo 4,
That's
you
what it
know.
looks like, dude. That is genuinely kind of what it looks like to me. And I think they're on the right track here, because this is the thing. ARPGs are really they're a really big genre for me. Like I really love them. I enjoy them
Mhm.
a lot. And Blizzard, I think it was interesting. It's interesting to watch the genre morph over time, right? Diablo 2 was a fucking massive hit, right? Back in the day. And it took a long time for Blizzard to make the next game. Diablo 3 came out 10 years, over 10 years after Diablo 2's final expansion came out. So there was a humongous fucking gap there. And Blizzard at the time of Diablo 3's release was a company that thought everything was about accessibility, casualness, and all that. And that is, they were doing that with all their games,
Yep.
except for StarCraft 2. But
Unironically, they thought they were making it more casual, which is funny. But
which is hilarious
yeah,
because they made it way more fucking hardcore.
yep.
Game is fucking insane. But yeah, like they were all about casual shit, right? And they swung the pendulum way too far in the direction of that with Diablo 3, to the point that I legitimately don't believe the game is an RPG. Like I think people who call it an RPG do not know what an RPG is. Like, they just call it that because that's what Blizzard calls it. It's not an RPG. There's like nothing about the game that's an RPG. There's no character customization. There's no like skill trees. There's no you don't customize the build of your character in any way other than gear and what abilities you're using. That is not an RPG. I'm sorry. Like, it is a loot pinata game that is an action game. That's it. That's all it is. It's kind of like Borderlands, but even more basic than Borderlands, because even Borderlands has skill trees. Like, so, um, so yeah, they swung that pendulum so far. And the funny thing about that is the game was successful financially, had a lot of poor critical reception, obviously had a really rocky launch, technically a lot of issues on that side of things, but even design wise, people didn't like the game for many of the reasons that I just described. So the genre, interestingly, responded in a way that went the complete opposite direction of Blizzard, where it went even further towards the super fucking complex, like hyper nerdy fucking like customization kingdoms of PoE, Grim Dawn, many of these other ones, Last Epoch, what was the other one that sort of flopped a couple years ago? I can't remember the name of it right now, but um, even Van Helsing that came out. There was a Warhammer one. Like, the thing that all of these games have in common is the depth of their custom character customization in terms of your build options with your characters, skill trees, passives, even the gearing is very detailed and customizable in all of those games. And the genre completely went the other way. And that is what people want. And I think it seems like Blizzard has actually learned the proper lesson from what everyone around them is doing. Because this game, not only does it have skill trees, but they mentioned something called Paragon boards, and they showed it very briefly. And it looks like Jet actually said it looks like Final Fantasy X Sphere Grid, which is kind of does, honestly. Actually, funny enough, but it does remind me of PoE as well, the passive skill trees, and they called them
Yeah.
boards, meaning that you may be able to swap them out, which is a very interesting concept. Where you will, there seems like there's going to be very deep customization in this game, and that is what I'm looking for. And like you said, you're going to marry that with the best gameplay in the ARPG genre. No joke, Diablo 3 is it. I don't care what else you say about that game. That game's gameplay is fucking king in the
Yep.
ARPG genre. So you marry those two things together, and to me, I think we might have a very, very, very good ARPG on our hands here. So I'm
Yeah.
tentatively very excited.
Because you have people like me, right? Like,
Yeah.
and I think I'm a rare. I don't want to say like a unique person or whatever, but I think there are people like me who like depth, but we want flashiness with this. But for
Yeah.
some reason, the game industry and other gamers as well don't marry the two
Can't
together.
do both.
Like,
Yeah, you never get both.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you never get both,
Yeah.
and um, that's why I like games like Devil May Cry and things like that nature, because even though like skill based or skill tree wise it's not in depth, but the moves and combat
Mm-hmm.
and frame data you gotta learn and everything like that is just so in depth. It's like a whole different skill. Like you can look at somebody who plays Devil May Cry casually, and then you go and look at fucking Don Guri on fucking YouTube and see the shit that he's pulling off with the game. You're like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's how I feel about
Mm-hmm.
with like Diablo 3. I feel like Diablo 3 has the flashiness and the combat was there. Like I love the fuck. I played this game for hours with like
Yeah.
DJ and my friend Tori.
Yep.
Played this game for hours. But like I only played it with them, right? Like for me, it was no incentive to play it by myself and get my character stronger.
Right.
Um, and then you had games like you're like, man, you should play Grim Dawn, and I was like, I see why people like Grim Dawn. It's just not flashy enough for me. Like it was
Yeah.
just
Right.
basic attack,
I get that.
auto attack,
Yeah. I get that.
and um, and when I seen Diablo 4, I was just like, Jesus Christ, I hope this is the game that kind of brings me back to
You should try a
ARPGs.
spellcaster building Grim Dawn though.
Okay.
There's some flash there. It's not gonna be Diablo level for sure. But it might be more up your alley with what you're looking for. Because I mean, Grim Dawn, like, dude, to me, Grim Dawn and PoE are like peak of the genre in terms of character customization. These two games, they do it so fucking well. It's really complicated. It's hard to get into, big barrier to entry. But dude, when you're in it and you are like really in it, and you get to the point where you understand the game to the point where you're making your own builds and they are effective and you're leveling them up and you're getting the fucking gear you need and shit, dude, it is so fucking satisfying. Like it is beyond satisfying with both of those games. And yeah, I think to have that in Diablo with Diablo's combat is, I don't know, kind of, it's like makes you salivate a little bit, it's like it's might be something we've never seen in the genre before.
Yeah,
So
I think this would be because if you want to be honest, right, Diablo 3 and maybe a little bit of WoW started this whole like loot pinata loot. I consider Diablo 3 the first looter shooter of like looter shooter games.
kind of, yeah,
Uh,
kind of. Really
um,
though. Yeah.
because like Destiny follows that suit really to a T.
Yep.
Um, and what's the main thing me and you complain about with Destiny? Like we want the nerd shit. Like the
Yeah.
gameplay is there. We love the gameplay. The
Yep.
customization is there. We just want the nerd shit. And I remember briefly when they said like, "Oh, we're about to get into the nerd stuff." Like, this kind of stat and this kind of stat. And then it kind of like rolled back on it. And I was so disappointed with Diablo Destiny 2 when they rolled back on it because I'm
Mhm.
like, "You guys are almost there. You're almost there. Just give it to me." But they
Yeah.
won't do that because like their fan base is what it is now.
It's
Um,
kind of casual. Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of casual.
Yeah. Yeah,
Whereas
and
I
I
wanted,
think, dude, like that that's what they miss, dude. Is like that's what keeps me coming back to a game like Destiny. Getting loot isn't exciting in and of itself. It's exciting the way I fit it into my build. You know, that's what's
Yes. Yep.
exciting about it. Like
That's why we love Monster
seeing,
Hunter.
yeah, seeing numbers go up is not satisfying to me. That's what a lot of games that try to be RPGs and aren't really RPGs like don't fucking get. That's where games like Horizon and even Borderlands to a large degree like fucking lose me. Is they're all about numbers going up, and it's like, dude, that's not like that's it. That is the most shallow thing in the game, like in an RPG. Like that in and of itself is not why an RPG is satisfying. It's satisfying because I am the one dictating how my numbers go up and how effective that makes me in the game. You know, that is what is that coalescence of things is what's satisfying, at least for me. So, and I think a lot of people agree with that based on the success of PoE, Grim Dawn, and a lot of these other ARPGs over the years. I think that's what people who play this genre want. So,
Well, I think that's actually one thing. When you said numbers going up, I think that's one thing Monster Hunter actually does well.
yeah.
When you see your number go up, you're like, yes. But you have to do so many little things to get that number
Yeah.
to go up.
Well, it's so incremental too. Yeah.
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 And it's like, and even with your builds and stuff like that, like if I want my numbers to go up, I gotta get this critical eye gem, but I also want to like sheath my sword faster and unsheath it faster. So I gotta get this and there's this. And it's like that's what makes Monster Hunter or games like Monster Hunter, like I even say like to a degree, it's not an ARPG, but it's almost like a melding of like action ARPG, looter shooter or
Yeah.
looter games because it's like
Yeah.
it does that well. It understands its
Well,
audience.
and a truly good RPG, a truly good one, understands the idea that you have to sacrifice something to get something else.
Yeah.
You can't have an RPG that lets you have it all, where you're tanky, you do a fuck ton of damage, you're fast, you move fast. That's a bad RPG because that ultimately it may feel fun for a little bit, but it's shallow. It's a shallow feeling. Like a really good RPG, you can't have it all. It's impossible. You have to sacrifice something to make other things effective in your build. You know,
Yeah.
and that is the true balance. That there's a dance there that is really satisfying to play in these games where when you figure it out and you get to the point where you kind of do have it all, but it's like you're not as good as like going all the way with it, but you're close enough where it's like you're like 90% there with like all the things and you figured that out in a game that's really tightly balanced. Like that is really satisfying. Like Grim Dawn kind of has that, you know, where you can kind of have it all, but you're not like as good as if you had gone 100% of the way, you know, but it's like you have to really work super hard to get to that point, you know? And that's the same thing in Monster Hunter too. You can kind of have it all in Monster Hunter, but you have to work really hard to get there and it takes a lot of thought and kind of luck in a lot of ways too with there's always a luck element too with this where you have to fit it around your talismans or your gems in world for instance as well, and that's what keeps me coming back, you know, is oh man, maybe I'll get a gem today that like fucking like changes everything, you know, I can finally fit that other skill in here, you know, that I could never fit, you know, and then see how effective that is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the genre, I think game companies lost that, developers lost that idea for a while, and I kind of think Blizzard was to blame for this, frankly, because everybody was following them for a long time because they were so
Mm-hmm.
successful with WoW, Diablo 3, and other games that I think companies were like, oh, dumbing it down, that's the answer, that's what everybody wants, that's what's going to get us the most people, and it's like it's not really true anymore. Those people kind of gravitated to mobile, dude. Like that's where you go for that kind of thing now, you know. I don't think it works really that well on, you know, PC or consoles anymore. So,
Yeah, no, you're right. I think people have honestly I think this is a good and bad thing. I think Destiny kind of killed that whole
yeah.
like this is what people want, simplicity or whatever the case may be. If there was a Destiny 3 to come out, I think Destiny 3 would be more the lines of Diablo 4, like
Yeah.
nerd shit, you
Yeah.
know. So
Right. Well, 2023 is the date they gave, and I am surprised by that. To be honest, I really did not think we would get the game next year. So that is kind of exciting. That's going to be a big release next year. So, all right, let's move on. We got a few more things to talk about, Montrell, and we are deep into this episode right now. So let's get
yeah.
through the rest of this. Sea of Thieves update is coming on July 21st. I have nothing to say about this. Do you?
What game is this? I'm sorry.
Sea of Thieves
Sea of Thieves?
getting
Nah,
new
yeah.
DLC.
I always wanted to try this game, but nah.
Yeah. The next one is a game called Ravenlock. Is a third-person action game. It is kind of voxel looking, like sort of like Minecraft-ish. It's coming in 2023. It's going to be on Game Pass day one. This one did look interesting. What did you think of this one?
I'm actually going to pick this game up when it comes out. I looked at the gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
It looks pretty solid to me. So, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Then the next one, this was a surprise, was Team Ninja is making an Xbox game, and it's called Wolong Fallen Dynasty, and it's coming in early 2023, and it's going to be a day one Game Pass game. Montrell, what'd you think of this?
Man, I didn't even see gameplay for it, and I was like, "Yo, it's gonna be game of the year." Like,
Yeah.
when I saw Team Ninja, I got so fucking hyped, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't even show gameplay of it, so I can't wait for it. I can't wait to see what it looks like and what it plays like.
Yeah,
Because if
man.
it's Team Ninja, they have not missed yet. Name one game they missed on. You can say near one or Neo
Stranger
one.
in
I'm sorry,
Paradise, maybe. No, Neo
man. That game's.
1 is not a miss.
I'm just
Fuck
saying.
off with that. Neo 1 is amazing, bro. Like, I fucking hate everybody's revisionist history on this shit. Like, Neo 1 is fucking peak, like super fucking good. Like,
Okay, I think Stranger in Paradise is good. I think
okay.
that's a
I
good
mean,
game.
it's fine. It's fine. It's just I don't know. It was not what I'm looking for. So,
Yeah.
but you know. But it's exciting they're working on another game that isn't Stranger Paradise. So that is
Yeah.
good news. I'm excited about that. I did skip a game actually. Cocoon was shown before Wolong Fallen Dynasty, and it is coming in 2023. This is like a platformer. It kind of looks like a game where you like run around and you're trying to become a butterfly. I don't like that's kind of the impression I got of it. So I don't know. What did you think of this one? Any interest?
I actually forgot about this game, but this looks like one of those games I did actually look. I might get it because I actually need one of those games that are like a chill game, like cool down, play it for like an hour. And
Mm-hmm.
Cocoon looks like one of those games. So
Fair enough. All right. After that, we only have a few more things to talk about. Atlas Persona's coming to Xbox. They finally did it. The crazy fucker Phil Spencer, man, he did it. He got Persona. So Persona 3 Portable, Persona 4 Golden, and Persona 5 Royal are all coming to Xbox, and he called Persona 5 Royal Persona 5 Royale. I was like, Phil, god damn it, man. This is why I know what Japanese games come to Xbox. But yeah, they're coming to Xbox. Persona 5 is the first one, and it's coming October 21st this year. They are all coming to Xbox, PC, and Xbox Cloud streaming. The interesting thing about this is that Persona 3 Portable is obviously that was a PSP game. It has not, the website went up for these games, and it is not officially coming to PlayStation yet. Neither is Persona 4 Golden, even though it's on PS Vita. That one's not on PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5. So neither of those games quite yet are coming to PlayStation. They're coming to Xbox first, which is interesting. We'll see if there's like an exclusivity deal or something like that here that Xbox might have paid for. But yeah, are you excited about this? You gonna play them on Xbox?
I'm excited to play Persona 3 Portable.
Okay, I never played that one.
Yeah, I never played it either. I'm excited to play that. So
fair enough. All right, next thing wasn't a game. It was Kojima. Yes, it is official. There has been rumors. Many rumors have percolated about this. He is making an Xbox game in partnership with Xbox. That is all we know. There's no time frame. He didn't say anything about the game. He did mention, though, specifically that this is a game he's always wanted to make, and that
Oh,
technology is
brother.
finally available for him to make it. And it sounds like that's heavily based around Xbox's cloud technology.
Oh,
So,
brother.
yes, are you hyped, Montrell?
No. When he said
Okay,
that, I got dehyped. It
yeah.
reminded me of Scalebound. It reminded me of Crackdown 3. All of them said cloud based, all this stuff, and they all failed. So
Hmm.
I'm not hyped. I won't be hyped until I see something
Same.
tangible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not hyped by Hideo Kojima getting behind a camera and saying I'm making a game. Like that's I don't.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Nobody saying that is exciting to me. I mean, that's literally like water falling out of the sky. Kojima makes games. The fact that he's
Yeah.
making one for Xbox specifically is interesting. But he said on Twitter later that his relationship with Sony is great. So there's nothing. There's no issue
Which is
there.
funny
He's
because
just he's just diversifying his.
there
Who
was
he's making
always
stuff
this
for.
rumor that Kojima hated Xbox.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that rumor, but there was always a rumor that Kojima never wanted to work with Xbox because he hated Xbox.
Maybe he did,
So
and Phil Spencer's changed things.
yeah,
It's possible.
maybe. I
So
mean, Don Matrick was an asshole, so I can
yeah,
understand.
and Xbox before Don Matrick were kind of assholes. So
Yep.
I could see why he didn't like them back in the day, but maybe Phil has changed that perception enough. So all right, Montreal. Finally, we got here. The end of the show. The last thing they showed, we got about 15 minutes of Starfield gameplay. It is coming in 2023. We knew it was already delayed. Montreal, this gameplay. What did you think? Are you hyped?
No, not in the slightest.
Oof. Yeah. Okay. Tell me
And
more.
uh, people may think I'm like being very what's the word I'm looking for? Like negative on it. I
A
think that's
hater?
the word. I was a hater, and they think I'm negative, but bro, I'm sorry. Fallout 4 really scarred me, and then Fallout 76 put.
Made it
If it was
worse.
already like a scar right there, they reopened the wound and stabbed it with the knife that's already dirty with salt,
Yeah.
and they just turned it. Um, I don't believe anything Todd Howard says. Nothing I believe he
Dude, he's
says.
a
The only
straight up
good thing,
he's a
yeah,
con
the
man,
only
dude. He's a straight up con
the,
man, dude, at this point.
for
Like
real, him and Peter Mullix or whatever his name is,
Pete
the
Hines.
Fable guy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, Peter Molyneux.
Yeah,
I
Peter
think you're talking about
Molyneux,
Pete Hines.
the
Sorry.
biggest con man in fucking
Video
in
games.
video game
Yeah.
history. Um, and yeah, I'm glad the reporter for an article that came out later pushed him on, hey, is it going to be seamless to fly into space? And he said no. He told him like there's going to be a loading. And a lot of people were pissed off about that, but I was actually glad. I'm like, okay, that means they're probably like being realistic with their expectations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the gameplay I saw was like
Well,
standard
you
Fallout.
say that, and then later in
Yes.
later in this showcase, he says there's over 1,000 planets you can go to, 100 systems, or some crazy shit like that. I mean, God, there better be the fucking loading screens, because if there aren't, like, fuck me, dude, this game's gonna run like shit. Like,
I I just don't believe that. I believe planets are going to be like half a zone. It's going to be like
like Mass Effect,
yeah, there you
like
go.
Mass
It's going to
Effect
be like Mass
2.
Effect.
It's gonna be like
Yep.
Mass Effect 2 or Mass Effect 1, even.
Mass Effect 1. I think it's going to be
Yeah.
like Mass Effect 1
I
where you
mean,
have
he
this small little
said the
zone.
surface of every planet is like fully explorable, didn't he?
I don't think he said that.
Oh, I don't think he said that. Okay, I think
Yeah.
people are projecting that onto them.
People projecting that, yeah.
Okay, yeah,
I
I'm
don't
seeing
think he
that in the
said that.
comments.
I
Yeah,
think they're like designated points you can land on the planet
yeah,
in those zones. So it may be like four huge zones per planet or whatever. But we don't know yet. That's just speculation at this point,
yeah.
just based off what he said. Um, however, I do. Oh, hey Silas. I do like. I do like that. I mean, I like the exploration. I like that you can go into space. I like the ship customization. I like all that shit. To me, in my opinion, though, the game is like 3 years too late. If this came out or was announced when the consoles were first released, the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, this would have been like a game changer for me. But No Man's Sky already filled that void. I don't even play No Man's Sky, but I think No Man's Sky is already doing what they're trying to do.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, so it really didn't bring anything new to the table for me. Like everything they showed has already been done, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like just play No Man's Sky, and you
Yeah.
have you have Starfield.
Well, I think my thing too. The first thing I noticed here was that the game runs like shit. Like it's running at like 25 frames in this video. Like in the video that they showed us. Like this game does not look like it's running well. And we are not far out from launch. They are not going to fix this before this game comes out, and everybody's going to ignore it, I'm sure. But it's a huge red flag for me right away. Um, with it. The other thing is, again, this is like something we've criticized before, but it's just funny that it's Bethesda in this case. Like, dude,
Yeah,
they made this gameplay look so fucking stale and boring. Like whoever was playing this fucking game, like, had no creativity whatsoever in terms of their gameplay. They literally just shot at every enemy, and that's all they did. They didn't melee attack. They didn't try to stealth anybody. They didn't do anything. They just shot their gun until the guy died. Like it's like so boring looking. I'm like
to
guys, like,
to be to be
yeah,
honest though,
yeah.
what else could you do in a Fallout or a Fallout esque or Elder Scrolls esque game?
Well,
Like
I
those
mean,
games,
yeah,
when you show gameplay of it, in my opinion,
yeah.
it's not about the gameplay; it's about the overall package,
Yeah, but
how
see,
you
that's the
feel.
problem. Like, why are we letting them get away with that? Like, what they shouldn't make their gameplay better? Like, I find that I
No, no,
just,
you're right. I'm
yeah,
just saying.
yeah,
I don't know. You're making good points. I can't really defend it. Like they should make the gameplay more better. It should
engaging.
be more
Like, dude,
engaging.
there's a point at the end of the at the video, right? He's fighting the boss of the level of the mission, and he's like on the guy who's playing is just standing on the stairs in the open while three enemies are shooting at him, and he's fine. Like he's like not even taking damage. Like he just shoots all three of them behind cover until they die. Like it's just like so boring looking. Like I don't know. Like and then for some reason the game goes third person when you're in the air. I didn't really get that. I don't really think this was a good showcase of what the gameplay is, to be honest. And then they showed space combat as well, and to be honest, like didn't really look good either. Like I don't know, like I mean, look, I don't like Bethesda. I've said this many times. I think their games are overrated. I've always thought that. So I am biased, like clearly, very much so. So I don't think you should come to this podcast knowing me and expect me to say anything else about this. But I'm just calling them out of their bullshit. Like, I'm sorry. I just like when a game looks good, I'm gonna say it looks good. Like, I'm hating on Blizzard, and I've just told you guys that I think Diablo 4 might be the most fucking revolutionary ARPG we were ever gonna get. So, like, it's like this just doesn't look like the characters look. They got the fucking uncanny valley look. Most of them, it's just like it just looks like a fucking Bethesda game, and they all to me look like shit. So, like, I don't
No,
know.
you're right. I
I
think
don't
the
know.
Bethesda games are definitely one of those acquired taste type games.
Yeah,
Like I don't like um the Elder Scrolls games. I love the lore of Elder Scroll
yeah.
games. I just don't like the combat. I think the combat's very one dimensional and everything
Hmm.
like that. I would say the same for Fallout, but there's so many weapons in those games and so many things, and like
Yeah.
the quirkiness of the game kind of makes up for the lack of gameplay or whatever.
Yeah.
And the RPG elements, especially like New Vegas and even to a certain extent Fallout 3.
Mhm.
4 is where like that game loses me. It's too actiony, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
It's not enough RPG elements.
Well, and it gets
Um,
more simplistic, right? They
yeah, it
made it
gets
more
more simplistic.
simplistic. Well, I
Um,
think my problem. This is my problem with Fallout, and this is why I don't like Bethesda either. Is Fallout 1 and 2 were made by a different company back in the '90s, and they were CRPGs. Totally
yep.
different gameplay style, totally different genre, and those games stand the test of time. And they're way better than anything Bethesda's ever made, in my opinion. Both of those games, like fucking way better than anything Bethesda's ever made.
I would say
Um,
narrative wise, in my opinion,
Definitely. I
I
mean, even gameplay, dude. Like the gameplay is turn based. Like to me, it holds
it is
up.
turn based. But you know what? I'm gonna push back on that because I think Fallout 3 and New Vegas,
Yeah.
they did a really good job at trying to marry
Yeah.
those two like
Hmm.
styles, especially with the VAT system. You can play like almost like a turn by turn deal
I
when you're
have
playing the
heard
game.
that. I have heard that about 3. So
Yeah,
I've never played. I haven't played 3 or New Vegas. So, but like I've played their most recent games in the last like 10 years, and I don't like any of them. So
yeah.
they've turned into a company that I just don't enjoy. Now it's funny because I was playing Morrowind like last year on Xbox, and I actually was like really liking that game, dude. Like, it's like, so I think there was a point where Bethesda did make good games. They've just morphed into a company, though. I just don't like their style. And the other problem I have with them is like they just take forever to make their fucking games. And the fact that they A, take forever to make their games, B, they don't run well, C, they're buggy, then they don't even look that good. And it's like, what? Like, is this really the best you guys are capable of? Like, I just don't understand this. Like, like
I
you
think
get
it's a Todd Howard thing. I think he really doesn't
you,
want to give up the creation engine.
yeah, I think so too. I think a lot of their issues stem from him, dude. Like, I really agree with that, and I just don't like. I don't think anything's ever gonna change with them. I mean, Todd's like not even that old, dude. Like,
Yeah, he's not.
like I don't think he's going anywhere. So, um, yeah, I don't know. It's like kind of frustrating though because their games, the concepts and the settings that they have in their games are fucking awesome.
Yep.
And
I
it
think that's why a lot of people look past a lot of shit
yeah,
because what you just said. Even with Fallout, turning Fallout into a first person shooter and
it was a good idea
it was
actually.
a good idea. In my
Yeah.
opinion, they nailed it with the VAT system. They kind of married that CRPG elements with their own what
Hmm.
they knew how to do.
Yeah.
And even the storytelling and the choice selection and everything like that, it reminds me a lot because I played the original Fallouts as well.
Hmm.
And it reminds me a lot of the Fallout 1 and 2. Um, it's just then you get the Fallout 4 and they kind of lost what made Fallout. Um, but with their original IP like Elder Scrolls, I feel like they still keep that same thing, but we don't know because Elder Scrolls 6 didn't come out and it didn't take the same. I don't think it's gonna go through the same development that Fallout 4 did, where it tried to
Hmm.
change everything.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think my other problem with them too is and this stems from Todd more than anybody. But it's just the way they talk about their games. They talk about their games like they're the best shit that has ever come out. That like we should be like fucking blessed to play their games. And it's like I just like I don't think what they actually produce justifies that level of praise for themselves. Um, and I find that particularly very frustrating. So I don't
No,
know.
you're right. He's like a Western Nomura, in my opinion.
Mm.
Uh, but the difference is Nomura kind of actually fulfills in a lot of his promises that he makes,
Well,
or
he
he doesn't
makes
make any
games way
promises.
faster too. Like,
Yeah. With Todd Howard, he just lies, man. Like
true,
I
straight
don't
up.
understand how people can can still. I think it's been so long that people just forget. Like, how did we forget about Fallout 76? Like the shit that he said 16 times the detail, and it wasn't that.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
Where is the 16 times detail at?
the game looks like shit. Like the game was
People
broken too at launch. Like the lighting was fucked up. Like it was, dude.
people don't remember when Fallout 3 was announced. He said there were going to be 200 endings.
Yeah,
Like people don't remember when he
yeah,
announced
history,
Elder
dude.
Scrolls. Yeah, when he announced Skyrim, he said there were going to be endless quests. They had a system in there where there's just going to be endless quests,
Yeah,
and like none of that's there.
and now he's saying there's going to be thousands of planets you can explore, or a
And you
thousand
expect
planets you
me
can
to
explore.
believe that?
And yeah, you
And
think
people,
I believe that? Like,
but people are lapping it up, bro. People are
I know
lapping it
that.
up.
That's why I don't like Bethesda. Is
But
I
then I'm the
sincerely
contrarian.
Yeah, I
We're
sincerely
the
dislike I sincerely dislike the fact that everybody looks past all their flaws. Always.
but it makes us look like contrarians, bro. Like we're just being realistic. Like we're realists. Like but people think we're pessimistic. I've been called that. Like they're like, "Oh, Montrell, you're not. You're being a contrarian. You don't want to like the game." I want to like Starfield, but bro, what they showed me was just not it. I don't believe anything. They could have brought. Honestly, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. They could have brought somebody else on the stage and they could have said the same thing, and I probably would have believed them. But since Todd Howard's on stage and he's
Yeah.
saying this shit, I don't believe none of these.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Why would you? You're just gullible if you do at this point. Like I don't know. I mean,
But
yeah,
none of the journalists are like, this is why it's so much stuff I can go through off Starfield. It's so many issues with the industry that we've been talking about for the last fucking 4 years of this podcast
yeah,
that just rearose with Starfield being announced.
yeah.
Why are the journalists not pushing them harder? Well, you said this, you said that, you said this, and that, and that didn't happen. Like no
Right.
one's doing
Well, like a
anything.
simple question: 1,000 planets, is that literal? You mean that there's literally 1,000 planets like that you can go to? Um, and I don't know. Like it. This is where video game marketing is super dangerous, and I think people have to be very discerning. And this is why we're critical on this podcast, is because me and Montreal, like, we are more discerning, and that's not to say that we don't get fooled sometimes.
Oh yeah.
It's not easy to parse. Like, you have to have a lot of experience, like understanding the industry and kind of knowing what you're looking at, on really like go into the video of the Starfield thing and go look at when they showed the system of planets and stuff. Like, they show the planet of New Atlantis and they zoom out on it and they're like, you can explore this entire planet. And there's literally one place that has like on the planet, there's one place that has a like a point on it that is like
Like
a
a
point of
node or something
interest.
like
Yeah, it's like a
yeah.
point of interest. And it's like, even if you can explore the whole planet, what does that mean? Is it just a bunch of random hills and shit with like random shit in it? Like, that probably isn't going to be that fun to explore. It's not curated, it's not handcrafted, the way most games are. So it would be procedurally generated if that's the case, which we've had this with No Man's Sky, and it took them years to get that game to the right place, where it's like actually
Exactly.
fun. So I don't know. I'm just wary of it. Yeah, we're contrarians, dude. Like, we're negative on this, but I'm sorry. Like, I'm calling it how I see it. The guy has stood on stage and lied to people over and over and over, and he represents this company. And like, I've played their games, their recent games, and they're not it, man. Like, I don't think they're as good as everybody says they are. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, yes, there's a degree of taste with all this, right? Opinions are subjective, but I think people just look past so much with Bethesda for reasons I cannot understand. Is it just the legacy of their IPs? Like, they're not even the creators of Fallout. Like, why are you giving them the benefit of the doubt? I guess it's Fallout 3 probably. That's probably the reason why. But
Yeah, I think Fallout 3 was such a it bastardized like some of the characters or some of the factions. But anyway, I think it was such a really great way of bringing that franchise into current gen at the time.
yeah.
That people forget about it. And then you had New Vegas that came out that further pushed the lines and actually went to the old style storytelling, but kept the new ways of
Mhm.
the way the game works. Um,
Yeah.
and then you have like Elder Scrolls games and stuff like that. Like I like the games. And when people tell me that, like they don't like even Fallout and Elder Scrolls fans, when you tell them like I don't like the games because of this reason, we will probably 100% agree with you. But it's just something about the games that like like it's the world, the lore, especially the Elder Scrolls, how deep the lore is in those games and the wars and how why certain factions are the way they are and how they actually express that in the games and in the stories and the way people talk and everything of that nature is like really
Yeah.
cool. Um,
Yeah.
they build these entire worlds that you want to explore, no matter what the kind of gameplay is, if that makes any sense.
Mhm.
So, but I can still see that and say that and still criticize the fuck out of this company. Like they made some games that I spent hundreds of hours on, and I I I just don't believe. I feel like that's where people get lost in it, right? like they don't want to criticize it because they want to expand on the world and everything of that nature. But I feel like you got to push back. Like you have to.
Well,
Um,
yeah, and pay
there's just,
attention to other sources, man. Like,
yeah,
don't just listen to the company making the game. They're gonna try to tell you that it's the best shit since sliced bread. Like that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to sell the fucking game to you. Like, pay attention to other people. Like, to be frank, like Jason Schreier has talked about Starfield, and he has said that developers he's talked to close to it, like, they say the game is in fucking rough shape. Like, like they're not optimistic about the game hitting its release window next year. And based on what we saw here,
yeah,
I
I
would
believe him.
I believe them, because they're gonna, like, the thing about this is, right, companies are gonna show the best version of their game they possibly can, and this was the best they could show. That's bad. That's not
I
good.
don't want this to become another Cyberpunk, man. They if
Yeah,
they need to push it back, push it back. But
agreed.
I at this point, I don't even think they can, bro.
I know.
People, this game's been pushed back so long, so many
So
times.
long, so long, right?
Yeah,
So
I don't
I
think
don't
they
know.
can
This
anymore.
is the disadvantage of announcing a game 6 years before it comes out.
Yep.
Like,
Mhm.
So I mean, just to go into the next topic, because after this conference this week, Todd has been doing interviews, and he literally announced Fallout 5 in an interview randomly, and he said it's the next game after Elder Scrolls 6, so you're gonna get it in like 2031. I hope you're excited, guys. Like, this is my other issue with Bethesda is hire developers, make another team, make another studio that will make these games. Like, why do all these games have to be Bethesda, the specific Bethesda game
I will
studio
say,
that Todd
I will say
runs?
this because, and this is the ego thing, and a lot of people have done YouTube videos on it, theorized this, but ever since New Vegas, they have not outsourced their games
Yeah.
at all. You
Yeah.
know why? I think it is because people overwhelmingly think New Vegas is better than 3, and Todd Howard cannot handle that. He didn't
Yeah.
oversee New Vegas; he oversaw 3.
Right.
So imagine like Obsidian getting a hold of an Elder Scrolls game, and you make Elder Scrolls Daggerfall,
Yeah.
and people are just like, "Yo,
Yeah. But you know what's different now, Montreal? Microsoft owns Bethesda. Tell them what to do.
I think this
Step
is the
in.
part where Phil Spencer kind of loses me. I think he's too nice. I don't think
Yeah,
he's gonna do it.
I agree. He doesn't want to have the hard conversations.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty clear, based on everything we talked about with all these games getting announced and shit that are like weird shit, and stuff. It's like, I think, like, dude, go to Bethesda's leadership and go to Todd and Pete specifically and be like, look, guys, look, like, first of all, stop announcing games before you've even like written a fucking like production document for them, number one. Number two, the games that you are making that are about to come out, don't fucking lie about them on our broadcasts, like in our showcase. Like, that game, like Starfield better have 1,000 planets you can go to, because if it doesn't, he's
oh
a
my
fucking
god,
liar, you know?
this can be that. And like I said, this game, Xbox's reputation is already shit. To be
Yeah.
honest with you, I mean they kind of brought it back with Game Pass, but let's be honest, like it's
Yeah.
nowhere near like 360 quality, right?
Yeah. Right.
And if Starfield is shit, like if it's Cyberpunk level shit,
Oh,
this
yeah.
can kill the brand, bro.
Mm-hmm. Right. They can't. Like, I agree with you. I really think they can't fuck this one up. Like, this has to be good.
Yeah, man.
But I think to our what we were talking about before, though, I don't think they have anything to worry about. Like, I think people are going to eat it up no matter what it is. Even if it's Cyberpunk level, they're going to overlook it because it's
Yeah,
Bethesda.
you know what? Because people overlook Cyberpunk, so you're right.
Right. Yeah, I know they did. Right. And CD Projekt does not have Bethesda's cachet. They had a lot, but I don't think they have Bethesda's like shield that they have. So, but yeah, Fallout 5, guys. I hope you're excited. You know, you might get it in 10 years. He said Elder Scrolls 6 is in pre-production too. That a game they announced like 4 years ago. It's fucking ridiculous. I'm glad Square doesn't do this anymore.
Yeah, you remember they used to do that shit?
Dude, yeah. Right. They'd announced games that weren't even in pre-production yet. Yeah, I remember that time. I'm glad we're past it. But all right, Montrell. We're like fucking deep into this episode. We've crested 2 hours and 45 minutes. So I think we should go.
That's true.
We've given people the longest episode in a long time this week. So all right, guys. If you like this episode, please like the episode, review the show, and subscribe to the show on whatever feed you are listening to it on. And please share it with your friends. If you'd like to interact with either of us on Twitter, you can do so at I Trap for the Hokage for Montrell. That is the number 4, not the word. I am at Thundernut01, and the show is at the Player's Take. If you'd like to send us a question, you can do so on Twitter, or you can send us an email to the Player's Take 01 at gmail.com. And that is it for us, guys. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will see you next week. Bye.